Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure. Yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Welch's can't make everything make sense. Like why your mom still listens to the radio or what she meant when she sent that emoji. But a zero sugar drink that's still full of fruit flavor, we made that make sense. And strawberry, passion fruit, Concord grape, and more. You gotta sip it to get it. New Welch's Zero Sugar. Let's fruit stuff up.
This week, in Roswell, New Mexico, a crush turns into a strange obsession and a man chooses an odd target for his anger, but puts together a most brazen plot and executes it in broad daylight. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Petrogallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Wissman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today on another wonderfully crazy, disgusting, awful, insane episode of Small Town Murder. It's all of those things put together in one foul cocktail, and it's good stuff. What a show we have for you today. First of all, thank you for everything, just off the top. Thank you for your reviews. 5 stars helps a lot on whatever platform you're listening to. ShutUpAndGiveMeMurder.com is where you get everything. All your tickets to live shows, your merchandise. We have so much new merchandise. Get your coloring book on there. Shut Up and Give Me Coloring. It's awesome and hilarious. And Sarah's working on... who knows? She's always putting good stuff together for us. So there's Murder Bird stuff on there. So much cool stuff. Check it all out now. And live shows. If you want tickets to live shows and they're sold out, keep checking because these are rescheduled. People can return tickets still, so you never know. They might pop up. Tickets available that we know of, New Orleans and Milwaukee. Get your tickets to those. Those are available later on in the year. Check those out. We can't wait to be there. Really, we can't. It'll be fun. We're gonna have a good time. Patreon this week's awesome. Can't wait for for everyone to experience that. Patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all the bonus episode stuff. Tons of bonus episodes, and anybody $5 or above, you're going to get access to everything. Small Town Murders bonus episodes, Crime and Sports bonus episodes.
Every last one.
Anything we put out. The whole back catalog, more than 100. There's almost 200 episodes on there.
Yeah.
So much. This week, what you're going to get for Crime and Sports, you're going to get a really interesting story. The downfall of Bobby Knight.
Oh, boy.
An absolute hero college basketball coach. He coached the Olympic team. He won national titles and was a huge asshole, obviously, too, as we know, and really went off the deep end and ended up having to be dismissed or quit, or we'll talk about how it happened. But there's some
consequences.
There's some players with some finger marks where there shouldn't be. We'll put it that way, and I don't mean that sexually, so not good. And then for Small Town Murder, speaking of finger marks where there shouldn't be, we are going to talk about prison stuff on Small Town Murder. We're going to talk about the almost 30-year-old documentary on HBO Max called what is it? Lock Up Rikers Island.
Yes.
It's the quintessential prison documentary, and we're going to watch that. We're going to talk all about it. We've talked about it a lot on the show. And we're going to mix some other prison stuff in with it. And we're going to talk all about the horrors of prison. So that's what we got for you there. That's patreon.com/crime and sports. And of course, you'll get a shout out at the end of the show. Because God damn it, we appreciate you. So stick around for that. Now, disclaimer very quickly. It's a comedy show. It is. We're comedians. There's jokes that are going to happen, and there's also murder. The fact that we're comedians doesn't mean we're making anything up. We're nothing. That's the craziness about it. We don't have to make a damn thing up. That's how insane these cases are. We'll talk all about it, and we are going to make fun of some stuff. We're going to make fun of murderers. That's fun.
Sure.
We're going to make fun of especially this week some bumbling by some people who shouldn't have been bumbling. We're going to make fun of all that stuff. But what we do not do, what we go out of our way not to do, is we do not make fun of the victims or the victims' families.
Why, James?
Because we're assholes.
Yeah, but
we're not scumbags. See?
There you go.
That's how that works. So if that sounds good to you, we have a hell of a show for you. If not, if you think true crime and comedy should never go together, ever, ever, never, I don't know, maybe we're not for you, but maybe we are. Either way, no complaining afterwards. Yeah. Sit there and take it on the chin. So here we go. I think it's time to sit back and clear the lungs, Jimmy. Stretch it out a bit, everybody, wherever you are, your treadmill, your desk, you're in line to drop your kid off at school, wherever it is. I want you to sit back, clear it out, and shout, Shut up
and give me
murder.
Murder.
Let's do this, Jimmy. Let's go on a trip, shall we? Let's get it on. We are going over southwest today. We were coming from Kentucky last week, as you remember that. That was the backwoods in basically West Virginia, Kentucky. Yeah. This week we are going to New Mexico, the state that it's probably your least favorite state that you are constantly railing on. And you have to understand, Arizona borders New Mexico, and you were born and grew up a little in Colorado. So
but
it's
also,
a local rivalry.
I want
also
to go. I have to go through that piece of shit unless I go to California.
Well, I think it's like New Yorkers make fun of New Jersey. I think it's one of those things. Arizona has like the Grand Canyon and stuff, and they're like, what do you got, New Mexico? Yeah, pretty mountains, great, terrific. What do they call?
Literally
exactly
have nothing.
Yeah, enchantment my ass. That's what, We're going to Roswell, Roswell, New Mexico, which,
Area 51.
We've heard of. Yeah, we've all heard of Roswell here. It's Area 51. It's very famous worldwide, and people actually live there, too, besides
Is that right?
weird alien people. We'll talk about it. Southeastern New Mexico, about 3 hours to Albuquerque, about 3 hours to Santa Fe, and almost 3 hours to, what was it, Tijeras? Was that one that we did? Tijeras. That is episode 230, which was the Miracle Murder. That was crazy. You want to have something really sad and really happy happen in the same murder, you get this. It's honestly, that was wild, man.
Yeah.
It was crazy. So this is in Chavez County, area code 575, and the town motto, and they have to stick with it. You have to go with something. Quote, we believe. Yes. Or we believe because otherwise we couldn't sell you shitty plastic alien things at huge markups. Either one. We believe. So history of this place, quickly, non-alien history anyway. The first kind of, non-native settlers here came in 1865, but abandoned it rather quickly because there's no there's no goddamn water here. So they were like,
see, people, you think I'm playing? You think I don't have legitimate reason?
Logistical. Jimmy's got logistical reasons for hating New Mexico.
Logical and legitimate reasons to fucking hate New Mexico. The people that even founded it and settled it, they're like, we're idiots. Why did we do this?
They left. And then also there was a guy named John Chisholm, and he had a place called the Jingle Bob Ranch. Jingle Bob, which I just love the name.
Doing horribly inappropriate things there, I'm sure.
Come on down to the Jingle Bob and bring your kitties, would you? Yeah, that's going to be nice. Bring them.
Bring the kitties, why don't you?
Especially if they're little and blonde. I like them blonde.
Yeah. There's a reason Epstein had a place there.
No shit. So, they turned it in. A couple guys came in 1869 and built some adobe buildings, and that was like kind of in the center of where Roswell is now. And, things started to pick up from there a little bit. The name Roswell came from the son of, I guess there's a guy named Roswell Smith, and and somebody named it after him. So it was his son ended up here, and then they named the town after his dad for some reason. Okay. Anyway, they made it became inhabitable because they found an aquifer under the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody was dug a well in his backyard and hit a fucking,
great
black gold Texas tea over here. So,
found
water.
Found the clear gold, yeah.
Desert, in the desert, that's better than oil. Yeah. If you're dying of thirst and you hit oil, you'd be pissed.
I wonder how deep it was.
I don't know. I'm not sure, but there's a huge aquifer, and I think that goes. I've seen maps of that where that shit is. They also had a German prisoner of war camp here during World War II.
That makes sense.
Yeah, out here.
That's how you torture people.
Go ahead and run. Where are you going? Good luck. Good luck to you.
Yeah.
The climate here is nothing like the climate of Germany. That I'll tell you right away. Not a goddamn thing.
Yeah, it's like the goddamn moon.
Yeah, a bunch of pale. They'd just singe in the sun out there and crumble. They wouldn't make it 30 feet from camp. Wouldn't work out at all. So they ended up, they had that. It was in Orchard Park, which was nearby. And the German prisoners of war were used to do infrastructure work in Roswell, such as paving the banks of the North Spring River. So that is, those are some Nazi riverbanks there, everybody. Enjoy.
All paved by slave Nazi labor?
Well, then some of the, captured. It's different. Some of the, they didn't have to fight. They could have fucking ran. They could have, came over to our side if they wanted to. Some POWs used rocks of different sizes to create the outline of an iron cross among the stones covering the North Bank. Thanks, Germany.
You shit buckets. Damn it.
Later on, it's like maybe they're just happy to be out of that. Maybe they didn't agree. Nope, they're still fucking doing it.
Still drawing their shit in there.
So they paved over it with a thin layer of concrete. And in the 1980s, a crew cleaning the riverbed cleared off the concrete, and then they found it again. They were like, shit, what is this?
Oh, no, there it is.
So now the small park of the cross was then known as Iron Cross Park, and they renamed it POW-MIA Park, which is nice. And there's also a piece of the Berlin Wall there presented to the city of Roswell by the German Air Force. Sorry we were assholes and had to send some assholes here. Here you go. Have a piece of our wall.
So, can't call it Iron Cross Park. You may as well just call it Nazi repute.
Just make it, Goebbels Path. What are we talking about here? Oh, it's the Himmler Highlands. Perfect. Yeah, let's do it. Why not?
It's ridiculous.
Oh, that's great. The basketball team plays at the Albert Speer Arena. That's very nicely appointed. Very put together. So Roswell benefited from 1947 is the alleged alien incident. That's the crash there, and there's been countless TV shows. But everybody, if you say Roswell, they go alien crash. I mean, that's everybody knows
1947?
1947 this went on.
Holy shit.
And they had, obviously they had hearings in the 70s about whether there's aliens or not. And then fucking crazily enough, like right now or recently in the last week or two, they had more hearings about it where people are like, defense people are like, this is national security shit. Like we see a lot of shit. We don't know what it is. So I don't know.
Something's out there.
I'd worry. That's like it was like, well, that's not comforting at all. Lie to us. What are we doing? Either tell us exactly what's happening or lie to us, but don't do this middle ground. I don't know. Shoulder shrug. If you don't know shit, lie to us about it. I don't care. I don't want to be paranoid about it.
I think it's just horribly misguided and selfish for any of us to think that we're the only ones.
Obviously, yeah. There's got to be something out there. Yeah. I mean, it's a huge, every universe, for Christ's sake.
Way too much, yeah.
Obviously, that people come there and they say it was a cover-up, and the government says it's a weather balloon, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So that's how they turned into Alien Town, USA. And that's why people come here from all around the world, by the way. This is a popular spot.
Oh, God, this place is very popular.
People just sit outside, the installments there. They're in there doing something, them government people. I know they got the aliens in there. I know it. I know they do. I swear it. They do have infrared binoculars. I've seen crazy shit.
You can do this from your house. Just sit down.
Yeah, have a seat. So reviews of this town. There's quite a few reviews of this town because a lot of people have been here from everywhere, obviously. Yeah. And they've told us, everyone will tell us how shitty it is. Let's see. Some people like it. 5 stars. Yeah. Here's one. Roswell is an interesting little city. If you have any interest in extraterrestrials, it's a must-see. The people are friendly and very welcoming. Yeah, because if you don't come back, their cafe will shut down. And then they have a bunch of weird alien shit they have to sell on eBay, and that's not going to go well for them. So 4 stars here. Roswell is a great place, not just for its aliens. They're walking around on display. You'll run into them on the street. They have them directing traffic down there. It's fun. Let's see. But also for its excellent, authentic Mexican cuisine. Well, it's very close to Mexico, so that would make a lot of sense.
And it used to be Mexico, so yeah.
It's New Mexico. That provide a variety of choices, such as their mouth-watering enchiladas, flavor-filled red chili smothered burritos. Is someone trying out for an ad agency?
Honestly.
And renowned Hatch green chili. Roswell not only serves as a great example of cultural inclusion, but also an epicenter for the state fair that ceases to amaze people every year with their intricate rides and wide variety of food and games. Despite its location in the middle of the desert, you can stop right there. It's in the middle of the desert. Great, not interested. I don't care what you put there. Unless it's 50 casinos.
Piece of it, yeah.
Unless it's 50 casinos and fucking the Blue Men, no one's going there. That's what it is. You got to have someone doing
giant
magic.
Swimming pools, shit like that.
Yeah. You have Celine Dion out there. I think maybe you can get a few, ladies out there for that.
Yes. Britney Spears have a residency in Roswell?
I didn't think so. It says it'll provide ample joy for the entire family. All in all, Roswell is a wonderful town, presenting culture in an eye-opening way and gets people together and enjoy themselves. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Oh, Jesus. 2 stars. Roswell's a smaller community and a city, but that doesn't mean we're not close. Students, teachers, parents, and the workforce like cops are all involved in our community full-heartedly. That's not how you say that. The downside to Roswell is there is a large amount of poor and poverty communities. Jesus. If we could just take a flamethrower to that side of town, I feel like it'd be better. That's what I feel like the next line's going to be.
These poor people.
We're divided into north and south, and just how Santa lives north, you can easily tell that the north side is good and the south side is bad. Jesus. My God. 1 star. I grew up here, but I've left 5 times. Well, that's not a good endorsement.
How do you leave 5 times? And is he still there?
Coming back. When I ran out of things to do, I went to rock concerts in big cities, about 20 to 30 of them. I went back to help my mom and then left again. My mom died last Tuesday afternoon. Jesus Christ, I know this. This guy's got a narrative going on. I will see her go into her room underground, but try not to get trapped there again by this satanic world. Then I will wait on God to raise our families from our enemy death into God's kingdom on earth where we can possibly never die again. That's my review of Roswell. That's my review of Roswell, New Mexico. The fuck does that have to do with anything? 1 star, by the way. 1 star.
I will watch her go into her room?
I guess so. I will see her go into her room underground. I guess that means to get buried. But try not to get trapped there again by this satanic world. Whoa, this is wild.
That's
took
the guy that
that took a turn, man.
That's your typical rock audience right there.
Wow, that is it. This is a review for a town.
That's crazy.
I want to hear more about the Hatch Green Chilies or something. This is crazy. What are we doing? Population.
How many drugs has that person done?
A lot of peyote. A lot of peyote. Left 5 times. I didn't realize I left, but I went walking in the desert and ended up somewhere else, man. Population 47,596, so a little over our usual, but
it's a lot.
It's worth it. And it was less when this happened, so don't worry about it. A few more females than males, but it's about a little more than the national average, but not a lot. 34.3 is the median age, so that's a few years younger. Marriage rates about 50-50, just about normal. The only thing that's odd, or aberrant, I should say, statistically, not really odd, but is the people single with children is 27% here, which is a lot.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's usually 10 in the rest of the country, so that's a lot. Race of this town, 38% white, 38.2% white, 1.9% black, 0.8% Asian. So it's more diverse than you would think because it's strange. I guess 0.8% Asian is not a lot at all. 57% Hispanic. So cool. It's a lot of Hispanic people, few white people, or half, a little more than half Hispanic, mostly white, and there's like 8 black guys. So there you go. Religion in this town, 54.6% are religious. Now,
what?
Catholic is a lot of them because it's 57% Hispanic, so you're going to get a lot of Catholic, obviously. Sure. There's that. Then there's some Baptists. Other Christian faith. I don't know what alien falls under, like alien religion.
Zeb, whatever it is.
I feel like there's a lot of like this shit going on, like, some sort of weird, I worship a rock that an alien beams a light down upon or something. I see that going on there.
Or I worship the eagle or some weird shit like that.
The eagle, like Borat. I follow the eagle. Oh, okay.
There's the sun god, I'm sure. There's all
definitely.
kinds of weird shit happening. Yeah.
Especially in New Mexico, a meth god. There's a lot going on there. 0.0% Jewish, though. That's not happening in this town.
Is that right?
They're like, we're not interested in aliens, thank you. Politics here. The last election in this county, Chavez County, 28% voted Democrat, 69.8% Republican, and about 2% independent. So economics here, the unemployment rate is much higher than the rest of the country. It's about double the rest of the country. It's 8%. I don't know if not a lot of jobs opening in the Alien Cafe, I guess. I'm not sure.
I suppose it's mostly retails and hawking bullshit, that has to do with the spaceship or something.
Not a lot of huge industry here. Median household income is about $39,000 a year, which is about $15,000 shy of the national average, so it's a little less. Cost of living, though, is a little bit lower. 100 is par, average. Here it's about 78. So housing is very low. Median home cost here, $120,100. So
wow,
very low, and there isn't really a lot of like extravagant homes here. It's mainly it is what it is, man. It's low. I mean, they're fine houses. I mean, there's not like it's not shacks or anything, but you're not getting any mansions really here. So if we've convinced you that your interest in aliens will override all other logic, we have for you the Roswell, New Mexico real estate report. Your average 2-bedroom rental here goes for about $800 a month, which is low, very low compared to the rest of the country. Let's see. Here's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,566 square foot house. So not bad. Nice house, enough room for a couple of kids there. It looks, you wouldn't want to move right in. It needs some work. It looks like possible blood spatter in the bedroom. A lot of odd staining on the floor. It could be blood. Like, it looks like poorly cleaned up blood. Somebody has been eviscerated in this place. The cabinets are real scratched up. It looks like a cat used them as a scratching post. It's not right, man. You don't want to be here. Put it that way. $155,000 for that place, though. If you want to, it's cheap anyway. I found a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. This is 1,335 square feet. Decent house. It's a nice little house, basically. It's clean. It's nice. There's some strange wood paneling going on in places, but otherwise it's done nicely. The people there, A lot of crosses on the walls. Lots. Whole lot of crosses on the walls. There's a basement. Big patch of... Yeah, the backyard is just a dirt patch. So that's really enjoyable. Take the kids out there. Maybe it'll rain. You can throw mud at each other. That'll be fun. $189,000 for that little treat. And then here we have a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 1,890 square foot house.
Okay.
This one's very nice. It's a lot of Spanish tile, a lot of shit like that. It's an Adobe. It's cool.
Sure.
If you're going to move to the middle of the fucking desert in New Mexico, this is the house you buy because it looks like it belongs there. Okay. It's the house you expect there. Nice house, $221,500 for that. So
Jesus,
not bad. Things to do here very quickly. It's all alien shit, man. It's all alien shit.
Of course it is.
The UFO Festival is here. At the UFO Festival, something to point out, they have a kids zone, and there they have story time by UFO Grandpa. So I don't know if he's an alien or if he knows about
Did
UFOs.
You witness it? Yeah.
Not sure. UFO Grandpa's in there. There's a concert here, which is expensive. They have a bunch of country people. William Clark Green.
Nope.
Is that somebody? He's a country music award winner, apparently. And
Clark Green?
A Texas country chart topper, they call him. William Clark Green. Sounds like one of our murderers, if I'm being honest with you. And American Idol contestant Lacey K. Booth. No. Wow. Bring your own lawn chair, $15 for that. VIP, $100.
What?
$100 for VIP.
$85 difference?
The fuck out of here for that shit. Jesus Christ. They also have a laser thing, a UFO laser festival, where they apparently they have like laser shows set to music. They have Laser U2, Laser Queen, Laser Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon.
I'd rather watch this.
Yeah, this is you take a bunch of mushrooms and watch the lasers and listen. The Laser Grateful Dead, Laser Metallica, Laser Pink Floyd The Wall, Laser Zeppelin, and which sounds like a Zeppelin cover band, and Laser Beatles as well, which is pretty funny.
No, thank you.
No thanks. And then they have the UFO tours. And it says, quote, sign up for the Roswell UFO tours with a charismatic, professional, and informative guide. I don't know how much charisma I need out of the person. Just tell me about this bullshit that we all know isn't true, or is at least puffed up for purposes of what you want to do to sell me shit. It might be true, but you don't know that. Neither do I. So what are we talking about?
It's so hard to beat on people that believe in aliens because
I believe in aliens.
I just never seen it, and I didn't think that that they came here.
Obsessed with specific alien instances is another thing of, yes, I think there's aliens. Yeah, that's fine. If you think that Roswell happened, then that happened in a million other places, and we should really be just as obsessed with that, you know? That's what I mean. So
I'd like to know how this thing crashed here. That's what I'm most concerned with.
Who the fuck knows? Yeah, I mean, we need to know for future travel. Is there a black box we can investigate what's going on?
I just don't think that a spaceship has ever accidentally hit a planet. It's not much like, you know what I mean?
Maybe they don't have perfect technology. I mean, our planes fuck up sometimes. So crime rate in this town, property crime is double the national average. I don't know if it's people coming in here and stealing shit, stealing your alien gnome out of your front yard or what that is. And then violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and, of course, assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime, is also a little bit high. It's about a third above the national average. So it's a dangerous little town. I don't know. Yeah. Good luck. So speaking of a dangerous little town, let's talk about a dangerous time and go back to a murder, shall we? Let's do it.
Okay.
We're going to go back to 1991 here. So we're going to go back 31 years. This is a very different time than right now. This is a time when Vanilla Ice ruled the charts. You know what I mean?
I can't believe that was 31 years ago.
31 years ago. Vanilla Ice was a lead in a major motion picture at this time in the world.
Was he?
Fuck yeah, he was in Cool as Ice. Don't you remember? You've never seen Cool as Ice, Jimmy?
No.
You go out as soon as we press stop. We are finding you Cool as Ice, and you're watching it.
Oh my God!
It's a movie where Vanilla Ice is the lead. It's maybe the funniest film I've ever seen ever. It's awesome.
You have to be kidding me.
I swear to God, he's got on a motorcycle the whole time. He's riding a dirt bike.
Not
a dirt bike, a crotch rocket. No, he's wearing a crotch rocket. He's got the big, he's riding a crotch rocket. It's wearing him. And he's wearing this jacket that has the big 8-ball on it. It's like a leather jacket with a bunch of patches that say
I know exactly
like
what it
sex
is.
And like, shit like that on it. And then it's got a big 8-ball. And he's like, yeah, what up, girl? Like he's got this, and it's put together like a high school student made it too. It's awesome. It's so good, Jimmy. It's amazing. You have to see it.
Did it make money?
Who the fuck knows, man? It's terrible. I can't imagine people are going to see it.
I've never even heard of it.
Oh, you have to see Cool as Ice. It's
I would have been the target audience for that thing in 1991.
It is. You have to see it. It's required viewing. You really need to see it. It's amazing. You will shit yourself at the 91-ness of the whole thing.
I didn't know he was a lead in anything ever. I saw him in fucking Ninja Turtles, but nothing.
Oh, he's the movie. It's Cool as Ice. The opening scene. Well, the plot obviously is he and his rap group. Very quickly. I'm sorry, everybody. Very, very quickly. He and his rap group are riding their crotch rockets through Middle America on their way to a gig, apparently. But they don't have any equipment or anything like that. They're just on motorcycles. And it's him.
They got
and
roadies bringing that.
It's him and like 8 black guys on motorcycles, right?
Yeah.
There's a problem. Somebody's motorcycle breaks down, so stop. They stop at this house. This guy's like a mechanic.
He'll solve it.
Yeah, well, he's got a problem. He's going to solve it. So they take it to this guy, and they turn out to be these crazy old people who like take the bike all apart, so they're stuck in this town for a couple days. So while he's out wandering around doing his thing, he runs into a girl that he likes who's riding a horse, and he knocks her off her horse and almost kills her, right? Then he steals her day planner book, and then he brings it back to her, and he's like, what up, girl, looking for this? And she's like, give me my shit back. And he's like, nah, man, I'm a finger you first. And he's like all over her, and then it turns out that her father is actually in the witness protection program because he stole a bunch of money from the mob, and now his daughter is getting some horse scholarship, and so she's on the news, and then the mob sees her on the news and sees her father on there, who, by the way, is the dad from Family Ties. So that's fucking great.
Really?
I swear to God. And then so the mob comes, and then Vanilla Ice and his buddies have to protect the family from the mafia while he gets in good with her and fingers her in a half-constructed house. That's what happens.
This is awesome.
It's amazing. And the whole time he's on motorcycles, and he's like winking at the camera and shit. It's awesome.
Doc Hollywood and My Blue Haven.
My Blue Heaven mixed together with terrible actors. Without any of the charm or humor.
Unreal.
It's great. Okay.
And they take it serious.
And it's dead. They're trying to make it like, half comedy, but like an adventure romance. It's so bad.
Dead ass serious.
So I'm sorry to sidetrack that story, but that story is great. Yeah, you know what? I'm not. You needed to know about it if you didn't, that it exists. It's out there.
I'm stunned that it exists.
It's streaming somewhere.
Where's it at?
Who knows? It's streaming somewhere, though. I know it is.
It's got to be free somewhere.
Absolutely. I'm sure it's on YouTube. I mean, look it up, everybody. Yeah. But after we're done with this story. So in 1991 in Roswell here, at Roswell High School, okay, there is a young student he's 17 years old. He's a senior at Roswell High School. He's named Robert Stephen Farley. Goes by Stephen, though. Stephen's what he is, it's what he goes by. So, hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, Believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
One day in September 26th, 1991, a detective comes into the school and says that he needs to talk to a Robert Stephen Farley. I need to talk to him. So they send the detective to the assistant principal, move it up the line. The secretary's not dealing with this, or the receptionist. So move it up to the assistant principal. So they talk to the assistant principal, and she says, what do you need to talk to him about? And the detective says there was a fight at the mall last night, and a knife ended up being involved in some of it. Many witnesses saw a knife, so I got to get statements. I heard there's multiple witnesses saying Stephen Farley was involved in the fight or somewhere around the fight, so I need to find out what's up with that, basically. I need to take him down to the station and question him. So the assistant principal calls up Stephen's guardian, as we'll talk about, because his mom's not around in this area at the very moment, and says, there's a police officer here. The detective, it's a Detective John Fuller. Detective Fuller says to meet them down at the station because he's 17, so he's going to need a parent present to be questioned, or at least permission from the parent to be questioned. So, they said to the guardian on the phone, meet him down at the police station, and they'll sort it out down there. And so the assistant principal says, that's enough of that for me. Wipes her hands of it, and then this detective takes Stephen outside, frisks him, handcuffs him, and places him in the back seat of a car that we'll talk about here.
Okay.
A faded blue station wagon.
That's what?
Which is obviously the normal car
the police
that
cars in
usually. Well, faded blue station wagons from the 70s are what all cop detectives take to question a suspect. So
it used to be Arctic blue.
Yeah, it's Antarctic blue. You know, or the Antarctic blue or the metallic B or the Antarctic blue.
Yeah.
So, Stephen, let's talk about Stephen for a minute here, the boy who's been taken away about the knife fight. Stephen is a senior. He plans to attend Eastern New Mexico University in Roswell before he wants to enroll in law school eventually.
Oh, he wants to be a lawyer. Yeah,
he's an honor student. He's in all honors classes. He's described as an excellent student and, the most college-ready kid they got. He's the guy. He was born in Roswell, grew up here, but he moved last year with his mom to Rio Rancho, and he attended Cibola High School there. Cibola High School. Whatever
Cibola?
Yep. I don't know how you say that. Yeah, there you go. That high school. And his father moved out to Tennessee. His parents are divorced, so his father lived in Tennessee. But this year, though, because it's September, beginning of the school year, he decided that he wanted to go back to Roswell so he could go do his senior year and graduate with all the people he grew up with.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know these I want to go hang out with my friends. It's your senior year. And after this, too, you go to...
Chabola kids?
Chabola. Yeah, hang out with these fucking Chabolis over here. Yeah. They got Chabola, all of them. It's disgusting. There's boils all over their skin. It's biblical, man. This Chabola is nasty.
I only know that because that's the parking lot of the Chabola Vista place. That's where Ultimate Warrior died.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, there you go.
He died in the parking lot of it.
Perfect. Yeah, well, you don't want to... Everybody be very careful. You don't want to come down with Chabola 19. It'll be very bad for everybody. It'll spread.
It's what killed the Ultimate Warrior.
It's what killed the Ultimate Warrior right there in the... He couldn't even... He didn't even get in. It was just in the parking lot.
Check in, yeah.
It was, clap. It was in the air, man.
Before he even got in there.
It was like radiation. You couldn't get rid of it. So, yeah, he wants to come and hang out with his friends for his senior year and go to Roswell High. So he did. He's actually staying with a friend of his. His best friend since, young childhood, his name's Danny. He's staying with Danny and Danny's mom, Debbie Coleman. So they're very trusted. Obviously, they've all grown up together. I'm sure they spend, weekend nights at each other's houses all the time anyway as kids. So the parents, that's how nice of a kid Steven is. They say, sure, your friend can live here for a year with us during the whole school year. Imagine if one of your kids is like, yeah, unless they were like, yeah, his mom was like, killed in a helicopter accident or something, like something spectacular. But if it was just like, he feels like going to school with his friends, you'd be like, that ain't my fucking problem.
Tell his mom to buy a fucking house nearby.
Yeah.
It's not my shit.
How is that my problem? Your friend is not living with us.
What, doesn't the bus run that way? Then fuck him. I don't care.
Unless he's been like severely abused or something. He's not staying here. Sorry. So, he's doing well, though, there, obviously. Everybody says he's got a ton of friends, doing all sorts of stuff. His mom says that he's planning, like I said, Eastern New Mexico University to get preliminary courses out of the way. Then he wants to go to law school, and his goal, and I don't know if in 91 it's different than now, but he wants to get into Harvard or Yale or like an Ivy League law school.
Of course, who the fuck doesn't?
That sounds... His mother says he's even already contacted several places. He wants to get like a idea of what's the best way to do it. He's trying to talk to like the kids that go there. Things like that.
If you're interested in it, you start researching, how the fuck do I do it?
How do I get into this goddamn school? Yeah, because it's not easy, I don't think, to get into those schools. And then
I imagine there's only so many seats, and I imagine there is a much longer list than there are seats.
And then if you get accepted, you got to pay for it, too. So that's the other problem. Jesus Christ. I don't think Harvard's cheap. I doubt.
I can't imagine it's... friendly to anyone's budget, no matter rich nor broke.
I mean, 91 was different, though, too. I'm sure it was more expensive compared to other colleges, but 91, Harvard probably costs what, ASU costs now, and from 91 to now. So
probably somewhere around 40 or 50, you think?
Something like that, yeah. I have no idea.
Year.
Yeah, well, I have a price semester, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
So anyway, he's also has a couple of sisters. Steve does. His dad's name is Luther. His mom's name is Marilyn. Marilyn lives in Rio Rancho. His dad lives in Tennessee. He's got a sister named Shannon. He's got another sister named Kelly. So nice kid doing his thing. Yeah. But apparently, knife fight at the mall, and he's
not
somehow
nice
wrapped up in it. And we'll talk about it. So enter Tracy Jarvis. Yeah. Tracy Jarvis is Steven's 16-year-old girlfriend. He's 17. She's 16. We don't know, but there's rumors that they're engaged. But I don't know if it was official.
How serious is that?
They were they're devout church people, so it's serious.
Very serious.
It's serious. Yeah, no, they're like kind of like promise ring type people. They're going to be one of those, but they're definitely going steady. They're an item. Their families, both of them, her parents say he's like a son to them. His parents love her like a daughter. Everything is, it's bliss. It's some kind of weird 1950s small town bliss.
Shit.
So, she's also goes to Rice School, Roswell High School. Okay. Goes to Rice School, Jimmy. She learns how to make rice, and that's it.
Do we know what their mascot is? It's got to be something alien related.
What do you think it is, Jimmy? Do you think it's a fucking
rockets or some shit?
I'm sure it's not like a wolf or something. It's got to be some kind of alien. It has to be. Just some guy in that big, with the two big eyes walking around up and down the sidelines.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So, anyway, his family, they live there. They've known each other a long time. So while they're living there, while they're all together, obviously he doesn't live with her. She lives with her parents. He lives with the Colemans. But Tracy meets a neighbor who had just moved into town. Meets a neighbor named Michael Clark.
Yeah.
Michael Clark is 22 years old.
Oh, shit.
Which is too old to be talking to Tracy at all. I don't want 22-year-old near him. Who'd you talk to? The 22-year-old neighbor? What house does he live in? We'll go have a chat with him real fucking right quick. Hey, how you doing? You see my daughter? You didn't see my daughter. Understand? Thanks. Bye.
Did it extend past, my name's Tracy, my name's Michael? Did it go any further than that?
No, they started talking. They met in December of 1990, and she invited him to attend her church.
No,
She's trying to get, but she said he told her that he was a former drug abuser and a drug dealer. So she was like, come on in the flock. You know what I mean? She's trying to recruit a church member here. And she said she befriended him because she felt sorry for him. He seemed like kind of a guy
that's
who.
not what he wants to hear.
No.
Don't say that shit.
She said he seemed like a guy who was like he was 22 and he didn't know what to do with himself, and he was kind of in limbo and floating around.
He's going to guide him.
So, I was just going to say, so who do you go to for that? A junior in high school, because they have it all together, and then they're going to help put your life back together.
Please show me the way.
That's
as I pay my taxes.
Perfect, right? Jesus Christ.
Shit.
Oh, man. While I start noticing hair coming in on my ass, please. Please tell me these things. So, that's what she told him. She felt bad for him, she said. He seemed like a guy who needed some guidance and maybe a perfect candidate for church, she thinks.
Well, listen.
I mean, he's looking for something. So,
at least he's not going to be in the youth club with her.
Definitely not. He's not a youth. That would be he can be the leader of it. So, two of Clark's friends we'll talk about here. Two of Michael Clark's friends, Robert and Henry Martinez. They said that he's an intelligent guy, good companion, nice dude, decent guy to hang out with. They said in the past few months, though, he was down on his luck because he lost his job. That was the problem in the last year.
Okay.
And after she met him in December, remember, of 1990, and he was down on his luck, the reason why he's down on his luck and he lost his job is because court records show that, which is never a good way to start a sentence when talking about someone, court records show that Clark was charged in November 1990 with 2 counts of forgery and 1 count of conspiracy when he was accused of stealing a large number of checks from his employer, Roswell Printing Company, and forging and cashing 2 $250 checks.
That had nothing to do with the printing company. They were checks from some other business.
Who the fuck knows? Yeah, he just stole checks. I think these were actually from like the big ledger, one of those big ledger books from that companies have.
I think the company checkbook.
I think that's what they're implying here. Yeah, is that he stole shit from the company check and cashed and stole $500 from work essentially. So that'll get you fired, is what that'll get you.
It'll certainly get you into trouble. Yeah,
and it'll also get you charged in court. It'll get someone to lead a sentence about you with court records show, and he does that. So. He's sentenced, though, because he doesn't really have much of a record. He's sentenced to a pre-prosecution program as long as he made restitution. So one of those, if you don't get in trouble for 6 months and you make restitution, they drop the charges. Kind of one of those deals. Okay. So apparently he did all of that. He paid $500 back. He completed the program, and his charges were dismissed eventually. So
very nice.
That's how that worked. So she's, like I said, Tracy's trying to get her into, trying to get him into church, and so one of his friends here, Robert Martinez, he said that he thought that Clark went out with this girl like one time, but he said that the girl used to talk a lot, talk to him all the time, like, outside. He'd meet her outside her house and they'd talk, or on the phone they talked all the time. Yeah. And his friend said, quote, "The way I see it, she wanted to have him as a friend, but he wanted more."
Yeah, of course.
whenever Clark would describe it, he'd be like, yeah, bro, sounds like she just wants to be friends. And, he'd be like, no, she talks to me all the time. I think she likes me. So it was, that friend. You have to tell.
That's not good.
Yeah, she's 16, bro. That's illegal. There you go. Come on. Let's go to the strip club.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Still illegal.
Let's go to the strip club and get drunk. That's what that's what your friend should tell you at that point. Let's go see some adult women and drink alcohol. That'll get your mind in the adult realm and out of fucking high school
girls. Let's go somewhere where your girlfriend's not allowed. In a bar, sir. Let's go.
Yeah, there you go. Let's go find ourselves some bar skanks. Yeah, that'll break you this. Heck, I don't want a junior in high school after that. So anyway, that's what he thinks. He's known as kind of a misfit. He's a big computer guy. He's really, really into computers, which in 91, not a lot of people that were that into computers. His friend called him a computer freak. I don't know what that means. He also at one time invented a girlfriend.
What does that mean? Like
he made one up.
Manti Te'o, that guy?
Yeah, he invented a girlfriend, told all his friends like he had a girlfriend, and then they eventually found out that he didn't have a girlfriend. He just made her up, and yeah. So he's clearly a guy who's looking for something to latch onto, and whatever comes.
He's grasping. His life sucks.
He's just got he's trolling. He's just got a net out the side of the boat, and anything that falls in it, he's like, "What is that? A bluegill? Fine, that's good. What, I got a bass? That's fine too." Yeah. What is that, a frog? I'll take that also. Doesn't care. I'll go to church. Sure. Why not? Yeah, I'll steal some checks. Okay. He's just floating in the wind.
Anything helps.
But the friend said that Clark seemed a bit too much into this girl, though, like for the fact that she didn't seem to have any interest in him. So, she tells her friends, though, the only purpose she had with Clark was to be a supportive friend and try to involve him in church activities, which... That's the end. Once you bring him to church once, that's it. You've brought him. You've brought the horse to water. It's all you can do. Now it's either up to him to drink, and you're 16 and he's 22, and he shouldn't talk to you anymore because he's a creep.
But he clearly can't just go along with life. You can't just bring him to church, though. The guy's already got so many problems. He's better left with like some sort of social worker or court mandate. You know what I mean? Something that's court appointed that shows him how to do life, because he can't do it.
That's not the church thinks. Once you just tell him about Jesus, he'll get it. He'll understand. That's their thing, though. But that's what they say. I mean, they're selling redemption here. You know what I mean? And here's a guy who needs to be redeemed. So. There you go.
Something.
He's looking for something. That's what it is. So anyway, he began to attend church with her, at the same church, and started to call her all the time and pursue a romantic relationship. But she, at one point, had to make it clear to him that she was engaged to Farley. Yeah. I don't know if they actually were or if it was official or what, but that's what she told him. We're engaged, they're together, and I'm not interested. At one point, she said that he became like overly affectionate, would try to hold her hand, and would like put his arm around her in public.
Yikes.
Which, it's public. That's a teenage girl. You're 22. What are you doing? Number one.
Regardless, even if this is a relationship, you can't publicly be affectionate with a 16-year-old, you fucking creep.
Was he doing it, around the police station? How public are we talking here? Because maybe do it around that area of town.
God damn it, that's gross.
So she didn't care for that, obviously. She resisted his advances, but she told her friends that she continued being his friends because, the way she put it, quote, it was the Christian thing to do.
This is the other bad part about churches.
It's like missionaries will go to like places that are dangerous because they're like, well, I have faith that if I get killed, then I'm going to go to heaven and all that shit. And it's like, yeah, but I don't know. You got to have a lot of faith for that. It's an awful lot. It's an awful lot of faith.
Religious and cling to the thou shall not kill, but some of those places, those people
maybe
don't
other
think
people
that way.
Maybe they're not, especially people you're trying to recruit. So, in June of 1991, Tracy receives a letter typed on a computer, not a typewriter, like a printed out computer, paper, from a woman claiming to be Clark's fiance.
Okay.
All right.
Now she's upset.
Yeah. Well, we'll tell you exactly how upset she is. The letter says that this woman is going to kill herself Okay? I'm killing myself, just to let you know. This is one of the last things I'm doing is writing you this letter, and by the time you read it, I'll definitely be dead. But don't worry about that because you don't know me. But at the same time, I will be dead, but I just want to let you know that I had a dream the other night and in this dream, I saw clearly that you and Clark should be together. Okay, so now I'm going to kill myself. Goodbye.
Gotta go.
But take good care of my baby. Basically.
Because I had a dream, so you should certainly live out my
You should do that.
Dream. Yeah.
Goodbye forever is essentially what this letter says. So
yeah.
A dying woman's last wish is that this young girl be with her fiance. So, yeah, this is what's going on here. Tracy, though, recognized the letter as coming from Clark's home computer. These are the same ones that looks like other shit he prints out for me. Back then, not all printers looked the same. They had specific, quirks to them.
Same font he uses, all that shit.
It's everything, yeah. It's all sorts of shit. His name's at the bottom and like the,
right.
It would do like this timestamp with like the user on the bottom, one of those.
Right.
She then confronted him and said, look, I got this letter. I know you wrote it. What the fuck's up with that? And he was like, yeah, sorry about that. I just like you. And she ended the friendship right there. Said, that's it. That's enough. I tried with you, but this is getting creepy now, and I can't deal with this. And goodbye.
Yeah, this is a lot.
Extremely mature, by the way, for a 16-year-old. Very mature. Maybe he went to the right place for somebody to put his life on track because she has it together a shitload more than he does. Put it that way. So this does not stop his obsessiveness, though. This is not like he's like, oh, fine, done. No problem. Moving on to an adult woman. No.
That didn't work.
Nah, he's going to stick around. Made her uncomfortable, that sort of thing. She asked him to stay away from her, and that's when he began to harass both her and Stephen Farley as well, her boyfriend.
Right.
So he broke a window in her car at her house with a pellet gun.
He fired a pellet gun at her car and
shot out a window.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So also made a bunch of prank telephone calls to the Jarvis home and also to the Coleman home where Stephen's staying.
He's 22 and he's doing this.
This is what he's doing. And they actually ended up, there was so many calls, they had to call the police.
Wow.
And the numbers it was traced back to Michael Clark.
Were they at least funny or were they just like,
no, they were like, you're a motherfucker and, shit like that. It was nothing like, hey,
like a soundboard of like.
I was gonna say it wasn't like a radio station. Wasn't like a morning zoo radio prank or all. Like you've won 4 tickets all the way to Las Vegas. Isn't that amazing?
Who's taking with you?
All you have to do to pick them up is here you go. Make yourself a hat out of whipped cream. That's right, and go on down and stand on the corner of so and so and so and so with a sign that says "My butthole itches," and we'll be down there with 4 tickets. That's a prank. That's funny. That's no good.
Pretty good.
That's pretty good. But
or
anyway.
just like an Al Pacino soundboard where he just
like Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Like get to the chopper over and over again. Like, is this Arnold?
Who's your daddy and what does he do?
What does he do? And then like you hear yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, and they're like, is Bruce Willis there? This is amazing. This is too cool.
Hoo-ah.
Hoo-ah! I'm here. Never ask me about my business again, Kay.
That's fine. I can deal with those prank calls.
No. This is like you're a fucking bitch and blah blah blah.
Prank?
Shit like
that's
that.
Threatening. Yeah.
That's just mean and shitty. So during this whole thing, though, her relationship with Stephen remains very strong and even gets stronger as all this is going on.
Yeah.
I would assume, hey, he looks way better compared to this guy every day. He's looking more and more normal and everything like that. But in recent months, this Martinez guy, Clark's friend, said that Clark had been bothering the girl, and even he knew about it because Clark was telling him about it. Told him that he fired an air gun pellet through the window of one of the cars. Yeah, he was telling him about it. Like, yeah, I did this. This fucking girl thinks she can not talk to me anymore.
Wow.
I'll shoot out her car. I'll shoot out her dad's car window. So he can deal with that at 6 a.m. when he wants to go to work. That's perfect.
No good.
He also, and this one was interesting, he sent a letter to Jarvis's father, to Tracy's father, and to Debbie Coleman, the guy, the family that Stephen is staying with.
Okay.
on letterhead purporting to be from the Drug Enforcement Agency.
Okay, the DEA is sending us letters.
Alleging that the DEA was investigating Farley for drug-related activity, Stephen Farley, and that they're going to need to set up a time with them to talk about it and see if they have any information that can lend to the investigation.
Start that with a letter.
Well, might send a letter to witnesses, but probably not. You'd probably show up there so they wouldn't then tip this person off if if it's his fiance. So probably a bad move.
Better off having that in writing.
Yeah. I got this letter. Oh, shit, they're after me. And then he can run right to Mexico, which is right there. Perfect. In writing. So that's where we stand in September of 1991. Stephen came back to be, he had a long-distance relationship with this girl, and now he's coming back. He's going to graduate with his friends. We told you that he was taken by Detective Fuller about a knife fight. Let's find out how that all came about, all right?
Okay.
September 26th. Now, September 27th is when Stephen was taken from the high school by the detective, okay? September 26th, 1991. Tracy has kind of pushed Clark to the side, but he's still bothering her once in a while. The letter from the DEA was rather recently. The DEA's really got to look into this shit. I'm telling you, this is wild. So
it's pretty good.
It's pretty good. So September 26th, 1991, 22-year-old Clark here picks up his half-brother. He's got a half-brother named Jerry Kersey, Kersey. Kersey. Exactly, like Jerome Kersey, just like the player. But Jerry, he's going by. He's like, I don't want to be known by somebody that can dunk. I'm not really a dunker. He's a big guy, though, Jerry Kersey, by the way. He's like a big, thick dude. 27 years old, by the way. He's older than Clark here. He lives in Albuquerque. So they Clark picked him up in Albuquerque, and they drove to Roswell.
Yeah.
All right, they drive to Roswell. In Clark's light blue station wagon.
Uh-oh.
Now, Kelsey...
It's a real cop kind of vehicle.
It's a real... Yeah, it's what you think of. Now, Kersey is... he's a cook and a restaurant manager, and he moves around, and he works in restaurants, moves around. He had moved from Hobbs, New Mexico, to Albuquerque in July, so he'd only been there a couple months. He's got a new job and all this type of shit. So, anyway, Clark drops Kersey off at a motel that evening. So, drops him off at the Zuni Motel, Zuni, the Zuni.
Yeah.
So,
American thing.
Absolutely. So, and I knew that. But, that's the Zuni Motel, and neither of them had slept the night before, they said. I don't know why neither of them had slept.
What, are they researching a podcast or something?
Yeah, it's both of them. They're putting separate podcasts together is what they're doing.
Double shifts.
Double shifts, babe. So, neither of them had slept. So, they stop at the Zuni Motel at about 3:30 p.m., and check in. If I went to check in, they'd be like, we gotta...
One more hour, sir.
Well, you sit on this couch for a while with your suitcase looking like an asshole. Why don't you do that?
Why don't we have eye contact for the next hour until we have a room for you?
Do that. Why don't you watch a parade of people come up and get their rooms and go to them and comfortably go lie down in bed? Why don't you do that, and you could just sit here and watch what it looks like, and that way you can get jacked up for when it finally happens to you. Okay? Great.
Real suspense builder.
Real suspense builder. You're going to love this room
where the toilet doesn't work.
Yeah. That's the other thing. Can you put me in all that time you could have fixed the shitter. Thanks. All that fucking time. No one could.
All those rooms of people filling them with working toilets. Me sitting there staring at you.
Not mine. Oh, man.
That's maybe the best text you've ever sent me is they're doing it on purpose.
They broke me, man. It was hours after hours. They broke me. I was like, it's got to be.
I think it was 3 hours.
Yeah.
Right?
I said, it's got to be on purpose. Because now it was past the time they even said was the worst possible scenario.
Yeah.
1 hour
worst
past
case
that
scenario, 3:30. 4:12 runs around. They're like, we have your room for you now.
I was like, oh, God. I was just ready to cry. So I was like, they're doing it on purpose. They want to hurt me. I know.
It was even after check-in time. It was beyond the time.
Oh, it was beyond. You could have walked in off the street with no reservation and got a room at that point. They would have just put you right up in one. I booked my room a month ago. Nope, not me. On purpose. And the toilet doesn't work, and to save you the suspense, they didn't fix the toilet, but they did offer me full use of the lobby bathroom to shit in.
Shit. And brush your teeth.
Yeah. What? He goes, you're welcome to use this. I go, I have a room. Jimmy fell on the ground, by the way, when he said that. Because I looked at him and I went, here? And Jimmy went, bah! And his legs didn't work anymore. And he was lying in a fucking hotel lobby, giggling and writhing.
And I'm there talking with you to the people, and like that bar is banging.
Oh, the bumping
and
sound.
so we couldn't really hear him, but he like waves to you, and you looked at me like, "Oh my God, we fixed it!" And then
he's going to take me to a quiet place. He was just showing me where the bathroom was in the lobby. That's all. You're welcome to use this one right here. What? What? I offered to plunge it myself. I said, do you have a plunger? And they said, no, we can't get in the maintenance closet till tomorrow. I was like,
that's a union position, my friend.
Yeah, that's a union shitter there. That is a union log clog we got going on. You can't possibly.
Unreal. The greatest thing that ever happened.
Life. Why are you grumpy on the road? I don't know. Maybe that's why.
It all seems to work out.
So back to these two fucking morons who have no problem getting a room at the Zuni.
They got the Zuni, no problem.
Best room in the joint. A total view of the desert, you know? So they end up there. Now, Clark drops Kersey off there, apparently, and says, I'll be back, and then I'm going to take a rest, too. So Kersey ends up going to sleep. About 4 o'clock, he falls asleep. He doesn't wake up until 2 a.m.
Oh, my.
When he's awakened by Clark, I mean. So Clark's shaking him, going, hey, wake up, man. He's like, what the fuck? What happened? What's going on? And he said, hey, I just got back from the store. Are you hungry? You want to go eat? So he said, sure, let's go eat.
No, bitch, it's 3 a.m.
Well, he's been asleep for 10 hours, though, so he's probably hungry, and he is, actually.
Okay.
All right, I'm hungry, so they're going to go eat and find some shitty little place to eat. Now, during this time, when Kersey was asleep, we know one thing that Clark was doing, and he was at a store, at a gas station, at 1 a.m. You know those road gas stations that have everything, shit for RVs and stuff, too? Well, at 1 a.m., he buys, and this is from the store clerk's point of view, this is his witness statement, he said that he came in and bought an ice pick, a steak knife, and some wire cutters at 1 a.m.
1 a.m.
Now, I don't give a fuck who you are. If someone puts that purchase down at 1 a.m., you pause, right? And you go, you make a face, and you go, I'm going to remember you. You know that, right? I'm definitely going to remember your face.
Yeah. Take a mental picture of this face for sure, because he's either going to hurt somebody or he's going to go kill a cow and make steak and eggs.
What about the wire cutters? What's he doing with that? He's going to fucking...
sometimes you got to cut the hooves right off of this thing.
I was going to say he's going to rig up a pen for it outside. He's going to rig up a nice wire pen for the cow and then murder it with an ice pick and some steak. I don't know what the deal is, but that's a murder kit if you buy that in the middle of the night. The only thing he's missing is some rubber gloves and garbage
maybe some
bags.
trash bags. Yeah.
Some duct tape. That would be perfect too. Duct tape would really that would really add the extra
it's a gas
touch.
Station. They're out of plastic bags, shovels, and duct tape.
It's like, guy, where's your duct tape? No, you're out. It's usually aisle 3, but you're out. Okay, that's fine. I'll just take this steak knife, this ice pick, and these wire cutters. Thank you.
Who are you, the jerk? Why do you love these?
What the fuck, man? Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. Yeah. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on your, every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
So that purchase is going to stand, especially at 1 a.m. If someone bought that stuff at 3 in the afternoon, you probably wouldn't even remember it.
No.
At 1 a.m.
If they're in like work gear, that guy he broke these on the job site and needs them again.
Who knows? He broke the wire cutters. He needs a new, whatever the fuck it is. Who knows? But at 1 a.m., this is everything you buy is under a microscope at 1 a.m. Everything. Even if you buy food, they're like, you're eating this in the middle of the night. Like
1 a.m., you need a turkey.
Yeah. 1 a.m. How many of these 96 pizza rolls are you going to eat right now? Really? At 1 a.m. There's come on. There's pepperoni in them. These aren't good for you. Please.
You're going to wake up at 4.
Yeah. The answer is 30, by the way. That's how many I eat in the middle of the night. It's 30 every time. So it's perfect. It fits right on my pan. Just perfect. 30 in there. I'll just eat them all.
10.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's 4. It's actually, it's 3 rows of 10. What am I talking about? So anyway, here we go. They're buying his murder kit at 1 a.m., an obviously weird purchase. So then he wakes his brother up and says, hey, you want to go get some food?
Yeah.
I got a steak knife in case we need to cut anything.
Right.
So later that morning, too, we'll go to this. So Kersey said that when he woke him up to ask him if he wanted to go eat, Clark was agitated.
Okay.
And he was like pacing back and forth like, man, motherfucker, like, doing one of those, like something obviously happened. Like, what the hell? So he said, what up, bro? It's 2 a.m. What's going on? And he said, man, I just found out some horrible shit while you were sleeping. A friend of mine in Roswell, she's underage. Her name's Jennifer. She's like a high school kid, but she lives near me and stuff. Not Tracy, Jennifer lives near me and stuff. She got raped by some guy in Roswell, man. Found out some guy raped her, and I'm fucking mad. I'm gonna get even with this motherfucker, man. How dare he? She's my friend, and you don't do that shit. You know what I mean? He's very upset. Very upset. Kersey says that he told Clark, well, why don't you call the police about it and say that your friend got raped? And
Kersey's a smart guy.
Maybe that'll work if you do that. And Clark said, no, it happened several months ago, and she doesn't want to go to the police because she doesn't think anyone will believe her now because it happened like months ago, but I just found out, and, I got to get even with this fucking guy, man. This is ridiculous. How dare this shit go on, man? Fuck this. And they're like, his brother's like, well, who did this? And he goes, this motherfucker named Stephen Farley. Yeah, He's fucking raped my friend, man. It's bullshit.
Her boyfriend raped her.
No, Jennifer. This Jennifer girl was raped by Stephen Farley. Yeah, his friend that he's very mad about. So that's the story he's telling. And he says, no, it happened then, and she doesn't want to go to the cops. So they go, and they have trouble starting Clark's car. Can't get it started. It's amazing that he wouldn't have a operational vehicle, this guy. So then they went to a convenience store and bought some starter fluid and a chicken fried steak at Denny's.
Hell yeah.
So they took their starter fluid to Denny's and got a chicken fried steak. I don't know if they used it as like an A1 or something, but
that stuff is potent.
Oh, that's potent shit. They eat the chicken fried steak at Denny's and then go back to the motel where Kersey goes back to sleep again. Jesus Christ, Rip Van Winkle, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know. You can fall asleep on some chicken fried steak.
You know what?
That will fuck your belly up, man.
You eat enough Denny's in the middle of the night, you will sleep, no matter how not tired you are. Well, he sleeps till about 6:30 a.m.
Okay.
So he wakes up, and Clark's still up, man. He's up again. He doesn't know. Maybe Clark fell asleep for a little while in between, but he is up and he's amped up. And all he can talk about's the rape again. He's like, man, I'm so fucking mad about this. He can't get it out of his head, though. He's just...
Jesus.
It's all I can think about. And finally, he said to his brother here, Clark says, quote, I want to get back at him. I want to tell him I know about it and slap him around a little. Let him know he's not getting away with that shit. Maybe that'll make him think twice before he goes out raping people again, that little bastard. So
we'll stop a serial rapist.
Yeah, you never know. So Clark asks Kersey, he says, look, you look older than me because I look a little younger. You're 27 and you're a big guy too. You look older too. He said, do me a favor. He's like, do this. He goes, pretend to be a police officer, go into the high school and grab Stephen Farley.
Okay.
Isn't there an arcade or a pizza place that these kids fucking hang out at or somewhere where you could go find this kid rather than to involve the school administration so they could all see you?
Well, worse than that, when step one of your plan is break the law and then kidnap somebody, breaking the law more.
Step one is be seen by hundreds of witnesses. Okay, now you got that out of the way. Perfect.
Now pose as a police officer.
Okay,
felony.
In front of all these people.
Kidnap a man. Felony.
Yeah. But make sure you look people right in the eye when you're doing it, right in the face, and really explain to them what's going on.
You know what I need you to do? Commit 2 felonies right out of the gate before we solve the problem.
Let's come in hot, and then we'll work it out from there. But I feel like if we overwhelm from the start, I feel like the ball's going to roll a lot easier downhill. You know what I mean?
Bad plan.
This is a good plan they have going on so far. So, he says, please do that. So Kersey says, I guess. He goes, I don't know. Are they going to believe that? So Clark says, sure. So he goes and buys Kersey handcuffs and a security officer badge, like a fake badge and some handcuffs. And he tells him, if you're going to play it, you might as well look the part. Let's do this. Put this shit on. You're going to do this. All right. Get in there and go get him. So Kersey drops Clark off. We'll talk about where. By the way, this rape never happened. Another thing. Absolutely
this person doesn't exist.
Jennifer does not exist.
Right, of course.
He likes Tracy. He's mad at Stephen. Stephen has never raped anybody as far as anybody on earth knows, and it would go against everything that seems logical. So
he drove 3 hours to pick up his step or half brother and then 3 hours back. 6 hours round trip.
Yeah.
To get this guy to commit 2 felonies right out of the gate.
Right out of the gate. We're fucking coming in hot, babe. There we go.
But don't worry. We'll do it all on chicken fried steak.
From hours ago, like chicken fried steak from 7 hours ago. That's the fuel.
Yeah.
But I put a little starter fluid on it, so it starts you up. That's why I do it. That starter fluid's not lying. I'll tell you something, man. Not lying. So shortly after 10 a.m., Kersey goes to, and he hasn't shaved or anything like that. He's got to look like
he just slept for 12 hours.
Yeah, he slept for 12 hours. He works in restaurants, too, so he doesn't have to be like... he's not like a Wall Street guy who, you know what I mean? Like, you can look a little scruffier if you're working a kitchen. So he goes to the Roswell High School administrative office, and he says, hello, I'm Detective John Fuller of the Roswell Police Department.
Yeah.
He said, I'd like to speak to one of your students, please. There's an incident, blah, blah, blah. I'd like to speak to one of your students, Stephen Farley. He was told that school officials told him Farley is in an assembly right now in like the gym with all 1,000 kids in there. So we can't locate him. It'd be impossible to go in there and find him. So you can come back a little later when he's in a class and we'll get him. So Kersey said, no problem. I'll be back in a little while. And he comes back.
Festivities.
hey, you know what? It's a pep rally. The cheerleaders have been working on this routine for a month. Let's let them do it, you know?
Yeah.
So about 10:30, he returns to the school again. Here he comes. Detective Fuller again. How's it going? Yeah, good to meet you. All right, here we go. He says, yeah, I'm a police officer. No uniform. Doesn't show a badge. No badge. Doesn't show shit. He just says he's got...
the badge says security. He doesn't want to show it.
He's got a two-way radio clipped to his belt, and he's got handcuffs hanging off his belt buckle. That's what he has. And that's it. And he says, I'm a detective, and Detective John Fuller, blah, blah, blah. And, he said later on he would say that he never thought it would go this far. He thought he would go to the school. He'd say, I'm Detective John Fuller. I want to talk to this kid. And they go, let me see some identification. And then he'd run out and they'd leave. And he'd go, oh, they busted me and I couldn't get the kid. That's what he thought.
Detective John Fuller. No, you're not. You're right. Gotta go.
You're right. Goodbye. That's what he said. He goes, he never thought they'd actually go, oh, we'll go get him for you. You know what I mean? He never thought it would get that far. Like he thought, even if he got past the receptionist, the assistant principal would ask for some identification, at least something.
Put a kibosh on this.
Jesus Christ. He said, quote, in my mind, I thought it would be over at the school.
Yeah.
Figured that would be the end of it.
He thought he wasn't even going to be able to commit the first felony.
But here's my problem with this statement. Why go then?
Yeah, why try?
Clark's not with you. You dropped Clark off somewhere. So why not go somewhere, go through the McDonald's drive-thru, eat a hamburger. Your chicken fried steak's going to be wearing off by now.
Yeah.
It's 10:30. You could still get a hash brown. Get a couple of hash browns, sit there, check your watch, then go back to Clark and be like, fucking receptionist was like, let's see some ID. And I said, oh, it was in my car and I ran away. That's a fuck. They busted me right away.
I said, I'm Detective John Fuller. They said, this is a felony.
Yeah. You know, this is a felony, right? And then I dropped my Egg McMuffin and ran. I hope they can't get DNA off of half-eaten Egg McMuffins. So to me, that right away, I don't buy it for that reason. I don't believe that he thought it would never work, because then why would you do it? There's no reason to fucking do it. So, yeah, it's not like Clark's going to go to the school and go, did a detective come in here a little while ago and ask you? He's not going to check up on you. So, anyway, Farley arrives at the office. They bring him to the office. They call him out of his classroom. And he says that he wants to question him. I'm going to question you about a fight that occurred the night before at the mall. And this kid goes, I wasn't at the mall last night. And he goes, well, I got to talk to you about it, because there's a lot of people who say you were at the mall last night. And it's you got to come with me. So the assistant principal says, okay, there's procedure here. I have to call his guardian and get permission. So the assistant principal calls Ms. Coleman, and Kersey gets on the phone with her. Says, yeah, I'm Detective Fuller. Meet me at the police station in about 20 to 30 minutes, because I got to pick somebody else up, too, because we're multiple people for questioning. We got to get to the bottom of what these fucking kids are doing at the mall. You know how that goes. So meet us down there in about 20, 30 minutes. So the school calls and says that, and she says, well, I guess, yeah, I'll meet you down there, I guess. What the fuck? So that's what happened. Then he told her that on the phone too, that someone complained that he had pulled a knife on someone. Mm-hmm. So the guardian, Ms. Coleman here, she says that she didn't think it was valid because she thought that Farley was in his room the night before and didn't remember him going to the mall. So how could he have pulled a knife on someone at the mall if he was in his room? But obviously I'll meet you down at the station and we'll clear up this misunderstanding. So Kersey walks out with Farley. He frisks him, handcuffs him, places him in the back seat of the faded blue station wagon.
Yep.
All right. So at that point, Coleman here, Debbie Coleman, she arrives at the Roswell police station, and she asks to speak with Detective John Fuller. Yeah. I'd like to speak to Detective John Fuller, please. My, charge is here, I guess you'd call it. And the department said, nobody works here by that name.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him. And she went, well, he was picked up by the school, blah, blah, blah. And they said, no. And they called the school, and the school said, yeah, Detective John Fuller came in here. They freak out at that point. He's been kidnapped from the school right in broad daylight under the assistant principal handed him to him. Said, here you go.
Somebody looks dumb.
This is not good. So an immediate insane investigation starts. This is like the whole force jump. Guys with a hat over their face, sleeping with their cowboy boots up on a desk, jumped into action, and everybody got into it. Everybody was like fucking. Everybody was like dude and fucking. It was like Hopper and Stranger Things, like in the first season when he's just like smoking with a cup of coffee, napping in his office. That's what's going on. They all spring into action. They turn into season. They turn into season 3 Hopper all of a sudden, and he's like, in an action movie,
hauling balls in a giant Bronco,
knocking out Russians and shit. No, it's so. She said that this is all going on. Everybody freaks out. Immediately, she says they say to her, "Do you know anybody that could would want to do this?" That named him specifically. She immediately tells the police that this guy Clark here has been making phone calls to my house, been harassing Stephen and his girlfriend, and so the police obtain a description of the car. And of Kersey from the school, everybody at the school, the guy who took Stephen. So they also make a composite drawing of Kersey as well. So they have one of him, they have one of Clark, and they're going out looking. Now, in the meantime, by the way, they contact the FBI immediately.
Of course.
Yeah, because they were like, "Oh, we fucked this up bad. We should probably fix this." So
also, when a child is kidnapped from a school, isn't that an FBI matter?
That's an FBI matter, absolutely. Yeah. So they contact. I don't know if it was in 91 though. Probably.
Because maybe. It's a government building that the kid was kidnapped from.
He's 17.
Thing. Yeah,
it's got to be. It has to be. You can't just walk in and take a child from a school. We should all. That should be all hands on deck. I feel like looking for that kid, right?
Fuck yeah.
I mean, school should be the place where no one can just steal you. Especially, you shouldn't be handed over by an administrator. That's even worse. I could see plucking a kid off the playground. Yeah. This is, kid got too close to the chain link fence. Someone reached over and snatched him and put him in the back of a van and drove away or something. But this is crazy.
To a chain link, just like grabbed by the hair, or the nape of your neck.
Guy reached over. Come on there, Sally, and just puts her in the back of a van and fucking drives away. That's a different story. You wandered a little too close, man. They tell you to stay in the middle of the playground in a big group.
The principal saw their fucking pension go away, saw everything dissolving, saw their bank account was zero.
Yeah, it was like, oh shit. On one side there's a chain link fence, on the other side there's woods, and if you get too close, the wolves will snatch the kids. So you got to stay in the middle.
Yeah, you got to get away from the borders of this place.
Yeah. Come on, kids. Group up.
Stay in the middle.
Right around second base there, kids. Yeah, don't go out any further than that. No one's playing left field today.
Equidistant from the goddamn boundaries.
From the wolves and the pervert kidnappers. We're going to stay right in the middle, everybody.
Yeah. Unless the assistant principal serves you up on a platter to a pedophile.
And lets him handcuff you. And
you may as well have put an
wagon.
Apple in this kid's mouth.
Yeah, they might as well have put a fucking bow on his head. We put like some fancy garters and lingerie in there in case you wanted to maybe take some pictures of him first or after you murder him. Either or. Whichever you're into. We don't know if you like to dress him up after. What's your MO? We don't know. Fucking insanity, man.
Unbelievable. I hope
it's
that
ridiculous.
Principal was fired like that 10 seconds later.
Well, wait till we'll talk all about that because that's even more disturbing. So,
oh boy.
While this is going on, now they're starting to panic. Kersey had driven him. How did the assistant principal not look out the window and go, "That's a faded blue fucking station wagon"?
Right.
Not any kind of police car, but I don't know.
Had no idea. Our taxes were only we're only buying them cars from like fucking Ugly Duckling. Why are we giving them drive time cars?
Shitty drive time car. I think it's the Lethal Weapon thing. I think in Lethal Weapon, Danny Glover drove around his wife's station wagon.
Right.
So they went, "Oh, he's just Danny Glover. It's fine." And then she went back to her paperwork.
Yeah.
No, it's not a cop. So Kersey drives him handcuffed in the back seat to a graveyard, which is
oh boy,
a little terrifying. Once they get to the graveyard, that's where Clark is waiting for them.
Yeah.
So once they do that, Clark takes over driving, and Kersey sits in the back seat with Farley lying across his lap. So he's down, so no one sees him in the car because he thinks maybe people are looking for him by now, possibly.
Right. But here it looks like an Uber situation.
Yeah, it just looks like a taxi, the world's shittiest taxi going on. So Kersey says that during this ride, Clark accused Farley of raping a girl named Jennifer repeatedly. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know any Jennifer. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Then he got into talking to him at length about Farley's girlfriend, Tracy. And, he said, look, I like Tracy and you need to fucking back off and all this type of shit. So Kersey said that Clark told him he didn't want Farley to struggle. Oh my God. We'll talk about it. They pull into a gas station and Farley's in the back seat, obviously. And there's a gas station attendant still that comes up, tries to clean your windshield. He was told, don't clean the windshield and stay away from the car, which is as suspicious as buying steak knife, wire cutters, and fucking, an ice pick at 1 a.m.
Maybe worse.
Possibly worse. So what they did, too, they had stopped at some point here. I told you they had the starter fluid and everything. They sprayed some of the starter fluid on a washcloth and covered Farley's nose and mouth because starter fluid it was mostly ether. So he passes out back there because he's handcuffed. He can't fight it or anything like that. So that's what he's passed out in the back of the car. That allows them to go into the store together and leave him in the car and just tell the attendant to fucking not go near it.
Stay away from the car.
It's broad daylight. There's a passed out handcuffed teenager in your back seat.
Likely
the balls.
No tint on that vehicle.
No, fuck no. Yeah. Dude, the balls on these people.
Yeah.
Brazen. School, the gas. This is crazy shit. So 12:40 p.m. This is 2 hours after, he's been taken from the school. A witness says that he passed by the Cedar Lake Lounge, which is an abandoned bar. Yeah. It's when you drive in those desert roads, those things where you'll see like barely a structure that there's like just some spray paint on. You're like, I wonder what that was at one point.
What that used to be.
It was Cedar Lake Lounge is exactly what it was. It's 30 miles east of Artesia, along New Mexico Highway 529 between Hobbs and Artesia.
Gross.
Wonder why they shut down. You can't imagine how they weren't doing fucking turn away business at that place. Yeah. What are you? It's like the Star Wars canteen of this place. That's easier to get to.
And
holy
New
shit!
Mexico Road. It's probably fucking dirt too. It's probably not even paved.
It's a state highway, so it might not be though. You never know.
New Mexico State Highway.
Yeah, let's be realistic here.
It's sand.
It's that fine shit. When you peel off, it's a big cloud, like in the movies.
Use your windshield wipers to get the dust every 3-4 miles.
And he makes the outline.
Yeah.
So this witness testified later on that passing this Cedar Lake Lounge, she saw a light blue station wagon parked behind it because it's an abandoned thing. So they're like, why would a car be parked behind it? That's what struck this driver's attention. So at that point, too, the school at 2:22 p.m., Farley's mother, finally, Ms. Kendrick, receives a phone call. Not from the school, though. No, they receive a phone call demanding $50,000 in ransom for her son. We have your son. If you don't give us $50,000, we're going to kill him. That's 2:22 p.m., okay? So, obviously, she immediately calls the police. Yeah. She had no idea what was going on.
And now it's federal for sure.
Oh, there's kidnapping out of a school. There's ransom threats. This is an absolute FBI case now. So during this investigation, like I said, there's composite drawings and everything like that. Tracy says she's had trouble with Clark in the past, and she thinks that he might be involved in it and all this type of shit. So 4:30 in the afternoon, Clark contacts the police department himself. This is just a couple hours after the ransom call, and says, I think you're probably looking for me. Some stuff happened today. I'm going to come down and turn myself in, okay? Is that good with you guys? And they said, sure, come on down. We're open. We're before 5, though, because really, we're closed. We don't want to, no one's staying overtime. They told us no overtime this week.
Less work searching for you, the better.
Yeah. So he drove to the police station in the station wagon, by the way, there. That's what happened. And he's got a story to tell.
I'll bet.
he says, look, here's what happened, man. Well, first of all, he agrees to take them to the scene. He says, I'll take you to what happened. They search his vehicle. They find Farley's palm print on the roof of the car and his shoe print against the window, which is always a bad sign. They also find and seize a police scanner and a pair of pliers as well. They find. So Clark agrees to show the police where the body is. He said, yeah, there's a body. We killed him, and I'll show you where he is. Takes him to the Cedar Lake Lounge. In the back, in a small hidden walk-in cooler in the back of the abandoned cocktail lounge, they find Stephen stuffed into it.
Oh, boy.
He has insulated wire wrapped around his neck like a cord, and he's been stabbed 11 times with an ice pick. He is really, really, and also he's very bruised up. His head, he's been beaten, stabbed, strangled, you name it here. Stabbed 11 times. They said both the strangulation and the stabbing occurred while he was still alive, and either could have caused his death. They can't tell. They said that there was quite a few injuries to the head. He was either beaten with a blunt object or his face was banged up against something several times. This is fucking horrific, man. I mean, Jesus Christ. What the fuck are you doing? This is horrible, right? I mean, obviously. So
they beat the shit out of his face.
They beat the shit out of him.
Not just like, I mean, you know what I mean? You see these all the time where they're hitting in the head, but it's like side and back. This is all like just an abuse to the face.
Yeah. Beat his ass beat his face up and then stabbed him, strangled him. Who knows? I assume it seems like probably you stab him a bunch and he's still alive, so you strangle him to maybe finish the job. I don't know, because the cord was around his neck.
Yeah, unless both were a part of it and one strangling while the other stabbing.
Well, yeah, who knows? So they at the police station, they're driving and he tells them when they get to the bar there by the side of the road, it's a large tin building. Of course, it is a tin building. He said that his brother turned to the vehicle after being gone for 30 minutes, or his brother returned. He said that his brother went to go get Stephen, came back after 30 minutes, and he said that Jerry told him that Stephen would be fine and that he took him to a house in Hobbs and then returned to Roswell. So he said, I don't know what happened. He goes, I told Stephen in the car, this is Clark, that, you raped my friend, and he denied it, and then they dropped me off. And then my brother, Kersey, took him somewhere and said that he dropped him off in a house in Hobbs and then came back to Roswell. So I don't know. So then eventually, they ended up breaking him and he said, okay, I know where he is. So Kersey said that talks about getting the can of starter fluid. And then he said later on in the day, they went to the Roswell Mall and they went through the whole fucking thing. They got the handcuffs, they got the police scanner. And he said how they discussed how they would get him out of the high school. That was a big deal. So they said that, I'll stay over here because he probably knows who I am. So I want to stay away. That's why Clark wasn't involved. So he didn't freak out in the office. And also he looks younger. He doesn't look like a cop. So he said that they picked him when they picked Clark up. He got in the rear and placed Stephen on the floor and applied the ether to his face to knock him out. Then they stopped for gas, which was what we told you there when he said, don't come near the car. And he said that his brother drove to the rear of the building, took Farley from the car into a room in the rear of the building. He said he stayed out. Kersey says he stayed outside until he heard a yell. And then he said he went into the room and he saw Stephen Farley on his knees with Mike Clark stabbing him with an ice pick in the upper torso in the front and back.
So his brother did it.
That's what he's saying. He's saying Clark did it. Clark stabbed him up. He said, Kersey says that he told him to stop, which Clark did, but then he asked Kersey to hand him a piece of insulated wire, which was by the door. And Kersey said he only took the wire and handed it to Mike. He said he took the wire, handed it to Mike, who wrapped it around his neck and twisted it. He said then they left the room and they left the car in the area. They left the area in the car. Okay. He said, though, that he only gave him the wire because he thought he was going to tie him up.
Yeah.
He said, I didn't think he was going to strangle him with it, shit. So,
that's stabbing him, and you don't expect him to be using that to. If anybody is actively murdering somebody and asks me for a murder weapon, I assume Yeah, it's probably
ask for
to
another
murder some more. Yeah.
Another weapon. Yeah, they're not doing it just for shits and giggles. Now I'm going to fix some electrical shit. Now I'm going to fix the cord on this toaster that's been bothering me for months. Now that I've stabbed him a shitload.
I feel like this place went out of business because the lights are off. I'm going to rewire.
This weird. Yeah, it's a tin building. I think we can get it working again. Jesus fucking Christ. So, anyway, there's, like I said, they searched the car. They found all this. They have some physical shit. 3:00 the next morning, 2 Roswell police officers went to Hobbs to talk to Kersey. Kersey had turned himself in at the local police station once he heard what was going on. And the police took Kersey to Roswell, where he gave a second statement. Now he's giving the real statement. The first one was just I don't know.
A little appetizer?
Well, I was saying stuff, but
skins?
sometimes you forget, when you're under the gun, you forget what's true and you lie. Yeah. You know how that goes. The second statement, he begins with, quote, "I'll admit to kidnapping, but I'm not going down for murder," which is a great way to start a sentence to a police officer. Everyone, walk up to the first cop you see and go, "I'll admit to kidnapping, but I'm not going down for the murder," and see what they do. Just see what they do. I bet you're in cuffs just to talk for a minute, just to have a chat real quick. A little chit-chat. So, he said, "I was eating breakfast, and Clark told me that one of his friends, got raped and beat up. And the guy, he said, my brother asked me, would I help beat this guy up? Because I'm big." And I said, "Yeah, sure, I'll help kick his ass. He's a fucking rapist. I'll beat him up, sure." So he said, "Yeah, I bought the handcuffs and the badge, and I posed as a policeman in order to get Farley into the car." So now that's multiple felonies he's already admitted to.
So many felonies.
So many terrible felonies. And he said federal crimes. He said that after he took him from the school, that's when he picked up Clark. Clark then drove to the Cedar Lake Lounge. He said he never thought that Clark in a million years intended to kill Farley. He thought he was just going to beat him up and then tie him up and leave him there. Like, oh, now he can find a way to get out of here, and he'll be in the desert and scared, and he'll know better next time. He'll keep his dick in his pants now.
But this guy rapes, officer, so obviously everything I did is expunged, right?
This is all above board, I feel like. I feel like this is all part of it's routine, honestly. It's procedure. If you look it up,
I commit federal crimes.
It's procedure. Stand down. This is a federal thing, local guys. Stand down. This is all federal. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of this. So, he said he thought he was only going to beat him up. He said it was only once they arrived at the Cedar Lake Lounge and Farley went inside, Farley and Clark went inside. He said, "I stayed outside. I heard the guy screaming there, and I ran inside and said, 'Hey, stop fighting.' He's screaming." Yeah. He said, and according to them, that's when Clark stabbed him a whole shitload of times and then told him to hand him the electrical cord. So he said, Kersey said, I asked him, "What are you doing?" I think it's pretty obvious. I'm stabbing this guy with an ice pick while he's handcuffed.
Murdering the guy.
It's pretty clear.
What are you doing?
I'm murdering the shit out of him. What do you think? So he said, Clark responded, "He's seen our faces. He knows who we are. He's going to go to the police." And that's when he said, "Hand me that cord," and then he strangled him as well. So Kersey agreed to stand watch while this all happened. And they said Kersey was sobbing loudly in the police station, saying, "I heard Robert yell out loud, 'Why are you doing this to me?' I got to the door, and he was stabbing him." So he's crying.
Yeah.
He's crying while he recounts the story. "I'm just so sad about it."
But that's the thing about people that do awful criminal things like rape. If you rough them up, they're not going to call the cops and say, I raped a girl, so these guys kicked my ass." They're not going to call the cops.
No,
right.
They're not. Yeah, exactly. They're not going to do that. They're probably going to take their ass kicking and move on. That's probably
why you don't worry about it.
That's why people rob drug dealers. What are they going to do?
What are they
going to do? Yeah. "He stole all my Coke, officer." "No, it was a lot. I had a lot of Coke in the house. Tons." "No, I mean, I would have gone away for 50 years, but now this guy's got it, so go get him."
No reason to call the cops. Insurance doesn't need that police report.
No, it doesn't. So he said that he was yelling, "What are you doing?" And this was after the stabbing. He said that Farley slid down the wall after he was kneeling, and he said that he noticed at this point that Clark had put the handcuffs on Farley again because he had taken him off at first to go into the place. He said he doesn't know when that happened, but Kersey said it must have happened at some point. He said that he handed him the cord because he thought he's going to tie Farley's hands and leave him. He's already handcuffed. Why would he fucking tie his hands too?
Right. What do you need?
He's handcuffed.
Right.
I guess he thought maybe he was going to take the cuffs and tie him up. I don't know. He said that when he walked back to the cooler, though, when I got back, he was putting the cord around his neck and twisting it. We already said that. And he said, Michael told me the whole way out there, all he was going to do was beat him up and talk to him. I thought he was going to beat him up and let him go. That's all it was. He said, I thought that's all he was going to do. I believed Michael when he said he would let him go. I was only going to tell Michael that was enough and it should be over right there once I heard the guy scream. Next thing you know, he's going psycho and ice picking this fucking guy up.
He went too far.
He went too far. So after Clark came outside, Kersey then drove them to Hobbs, that's the town, where Kersey phoned Farley's mother and demanded $50,000. So Kersey stated that Clark suggested that they make the call and that he said that they never intended to try to collect any ransom. That wasn't the point. It was just to try to, take the suspicion somewhere else. Like he's been kidnapped by some kind of people, not this dirtbag unemployed check swindler here. Somebody, important kidnapping him. Maybe it's the DEA. We did get a letter from the DEA, maybe it's drug dealers. It could be Colombian drug dealers. You never know.
Maybe the force
Holy
of evil.
shit.
Who knows?
So the charges are capital murder, first-degree kidnapping, conspiracy to kidnap and murder, and tampering with evidence. So
That's not good.
that's a lot. Now,
Those are heavy charges.
it's a lot of charges. At the funeral, by the way, Stephen's mom is interviewed, Miss Kendrick here. She said that school officials called her 3 hours after he was taken from school, like right after the ransom.
What?
Right after she got a ransom call, she got a call from the school saying, hey, your son was taken by the police.
Yeah.
So she's like, well, there's your kidnappers. She said that since then, this is at the funeral a few days later, she's heard no official explanation and the school hasn't even given condolences. Nothing.
What?
Nothing. They have not said a fucking word to her. Not a goddamn, not even a card. Nothing. She's pissed off. Yep, she's real pissed off. She said that at the funeral, I just looked at my son's body. He looks so peaceful, and now I feel peaceful. Jesus, this lady is better than me. Marilyn Kendrick here. She's a nice lady. She was determined to find out how the fuck this went down, obviously. Yeah. Now, Tracy's family, her mom, said that the kids were dating for about 16 months, and even when he was away, they were still dating. She said, Steve was like one of our own. I don't know anyone that Steve wasn't good to. And everybody said that. Now, the school, what the fuck are they saying? That's the important thing here.
I'd love to know.
What is going on? Pauline Ponce is the assistant superintendent. First of all, said counselors will be brought in for as long as kids need to talk to them about that. School officials plan to read a statement to the students explaining the services offered. Well, that'll really stop them from being worried, I'm sure. Yeah. They also, the board also met with legal counsel and were briefed about the abduction, obviously.
Because we're about to be sued.
Now, well, Pauline Ponce says, our investigation to this point shows that the policies and procedures established by the Board of Education were followed in this matter.
What?
Okay. Yeah. Now, they said since that incident, school officials have said they notified Farley's guardian as required in school district procedures before permitting the man who was posing as a detective to take him away. According to the Roswell Independent School District procedures, a minor student cannot be removed from school premises, quote, without permission of a parent or guardian of the student. And the procedures later spell this out as legal guardian, but Ms. Coleman wasn't his legal guardian. He was just, that was where he was staying. That was his mom, his friend's mom is what that was. So also they said, what's up with the policy that allows anybody to come in and arrest students in the school? Like, is the school a place where you should really be pulling kids out of class?
No.
School's over at some point. They'll walk out, then you can arrest them. But should we be doing this is one of the things. So they said the Roswell school superintendent, Fred Pomeroy, said this policy was under review. But he said the procedure was followed and, quote, It's not unusual for a student to be arrested at a school. Well, that's terrific. That's great.
What kind of shit school?
That's great.
That's very unusual.
In my school, there was always like 3 cops at the school walking around.
There was a 21 Jump Street situation at my school, and we had children arrested from the school, but they were raided at their own homes. The operation happened at the school. They got them at their houses.
They weren't busting them. They weren't knocking them over and taking their tater tots off their tray as they came out of the cafeteria line.
No. They waited till they went home. We had
on the floor, get that fucking backpack off. Get it off. Kick the math book to the side, motherfucker. Kick it aside. You're not learning algebra today, you scumbag. Let's go.
Let me see your hands.
Let's see hands. Jesus Christ.
Stop resisting.
Drop the mash note. Drop it.
You're
not living in a mansion, I'll tell you right now. It's apartment for you. It's just apartment.
All that shit happened at school, and they would call the police, but the parents would have to be present. It wasn't like a phone call. You can get them at the station. That's a crazy... And the fucking school doesn't know these cops.
Well, that's the thing. This might be why, probably. This might have been like hey, listen to what happened in New Mexico, possibly. Yeah.
Also, Hobbs. Isn't that the place where the toy box killer was at?
Yeah. That was Truth or Consequences.
But isn't Hobbs right there?
I want to say that's on the other side of the state.
Really?
Isn't it on the western? It's in central. So it's probably close. I mean, who the fuck knows? Probably a couple hours
Hobbs
away.
Is where the chick was with the handcuffs.
Maybe. It's in the middle of nowhere. Hobbs is still far away from Roswell, though. Oh, that's a drive. Hey, everybody. Just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently. Wherever your problem areas are, tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. Now back to the show. Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about our stylish friends at Quince. That's right, let's go elevate your styles, people. Yeah. Get it going, look good out there, and you can do it now without breaking your wallet, without breaking the bank, because at Quince, you can get high-end, versatile pieces at prices we can all actually afford, which is very nice. You want to get good stuff that lasts and it's good, and they have quality stuff that's very affordable, and you can do like we did, upgrading our stuff here, while still being a very reasonable price. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. It's all quality stuff. You're going to love it. Trust us, it looks good. And I've got the leather jacket. It's a very high-quality item. Real nice, soft leather. Yeah. Jimmy's got his linen pants he's rocking.
Yeah. They're terrific.
Come on, be like us. Be fashionable. Get in there with Quince. Indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/smalltownmurder for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/smalltownmurder to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is fucking crazy. So the officials school officials declined to say whether school administrators asked him for a badge or other identification. By the way, he didn't show a badge. Never even showed a fucking badge. They never even asked.
Wow.
They never even said, hey, can you just flash a piece of metal at me so I can feel better tonight, just so I know.
Make the sun reflect off anything shiny. Let's see it.
Yep. So the school is saying, we're cool. We're fine. Some of the students don't agree with it, actually, though. They talked to a bunch of these kids. I have a bunch of quotes here. So this is the text of the statement. This is directly from a newspaper. The following is the verbatim text of the statement entitled Circumstances Regarding the Abduction of Robert Stephen Farley, released late Friday by Fred H. Pomeroy, superintendent of the Roswell Independent School District. Okay. The Roswell Independent School District has reviewed the events related to the abduction of Robert Stephen Farley from Roswell High School on September 27, 1991. The sequence of events reported in the September 29, 1991 edition of the Roswell Daily Record appears generally consistent with the facts of the incident as we understand them at this time. In other words, it's as bad as you read in the paper. Yeah. That's what that says. Our review further indicates that the policies of the Roswell Independent School District, as set forth by the Board of Education Policy Manual, were followed by the Roswell High School administration. The issue of the request for identification by the Roswell High School administration of the individual posing as a Roswell Police Department officer has been clarified. The individual posing as a Roswell Police Department officer displayed a two-way radio and handcuffs and recited the Miranda warning to the student right there. So, well, he must be a cop. He's got a radio and handcuffs and has seen fucking Hawaii Five-0 once or twice. Are you kidding me?
That's all.
Are you fucking joking me?
I've seen better Halloween costumes.
Oh my God. Yeah. No shit. This is fucking that dude. That's not takes. Even they said it's cleared up. He didn't show identification, but he was holding handcuffs, and nobody could you can't get handcuffs unless you're a cop. Obviously, right. They won't sell them to you, Jimmy. They're not available.
He knows rapist rights. He knows he has handcuffs, and he has a two-way radio that goes between God only knows what other radio.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. They don't know if the Miranda rights got muddled toward the end of it or something. Yeah. They don't fucking know. They work at the school. So right. How many of our...
You have the right to remain silent. That's our guy. That's a cop.
How many of our listeners right now could recite like the first three lines of the fucking Miranda warnings? 99.8% of them?
Fucking word of it.
Yeah. So most people can. But if you just say you have the right to remain silent, anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one will be provided for you. As you say that as you're walking away, that's a cop. Everybody knows those. Everybody. People ask if you have to ask your 10-year-old kid, you know Miranda rights? I bet they'll go, is that a right to remain silent? They'll know it.
By these three things, Ted Bundy is a fucking police officer.
Yeah, absolutely a police officer. Oh, you got a radio and some handcuffs, huh? Well, and you know your Miranda rights.
Tell me what the Miranda rights are if you're such a cop.
That is shocking. We're good because that happened, so don't blame us.
I'm surprised that the Guardian didn't say, what's the address of the police station? Because that's fucking genius right there. You know what I mean? But granted, in a small town, there might only be one. In Phoenix, it's fucking amazing because I can go, which one?
Yeah, which one? But this one is the Roswell Police Department downtown. That's it. So
satellite or downtown? What's the address downtown?
What's that again?
That's fucking genius.
That's something. But they were like, "What? A knife? What are you talking? Yeah, I'll be down there. What are you talking about? Yeah, we'll settle this shit." They never thought maybe it's a fake cop.
Right.
That was the thought was, obviously a witness has mixed up my kid. I better go down there and help him. Yeah. Not, I bet this is a fake cop who's going to stab him with an ice pick a bunch of times and leave him in a cooler in the middle of the desert. That's not a thought you have, especially if the school calls you. You don't think that. So they go on to say, contrary to a news report on October 1, 1991, a police badge was not produced. However, information released to the media September 28, 1991 by law enforcement agencies indicate that a police badge had been purchased by the abductor, although a formal request for identification was not made by the Roswell High School administration. Our review concludes it is reasonable to believe that a police officer's badge would have been produced upon request. So they said if we asked him for it, he'd have shown us his fake badge and we probably wouldn't have noticed that was fake anyway. They bought it.
Yeah.
It was a fucking one you bought at the mall that was a security badge. It wasn't. Maybe you would have noticed it said security, not police detective. You ever think of that?
Right. It doesn't say Roswell PD on it. What the fuck?
Yeah. What is this shit? That is wild. The RISD the school district will continue its cooperation with law enforcement agencies to see that justice is served. As an ongoing practice of policy review, the district will assess its procedures to protect the welfare of its students in an attempt to prevent any of this future tragedy of this type. The state of the school, or the staff of the school district, continues to share the sadness of the family and the community of the loss of Robert Stephen Farley. So there you go. Yeah. They go on to say, by the way, this is a part of it. A student may be taken into custody and detained by a law officer if a warrant of arrest properly executed by the children's court is presented to the school principal. Okay? So
how would they know if that's real, though?
They would have no idea. However, it says a student may also be taken into custody for questioning in the course of the investigation. If in the course of the investigation, the officer decides this to be in the best interest. So you have to present an arrest warrant, but if you just want to say I'm going to take him, you can just take him anyway. That's the law. Policy. The policy states that school officials must contact the student's parent or guardian by telephone to advise them of a law officer taking them into custody. Now, there's also the Carlsbad, New Mexico police chief goes on to say that they're talking about this because they have now all the school districts in this area are like, what's our policy on this? Right. Yeah. Like, do we let them just take kids, or how does this work here? So he said any safeguard is great on the surface. If people deviate from it, that's where we get into trouble. I think what I've seen here, that the administration and the faculty is very protective of the school campus. I'm sure they were at the Roswell school, too. I'm sure they weren't like, we just let people take kids. Who fucking cares? I'm sure that wasn't the attitude.
Yeah,
they thought they were doing right.
That guy just said, don't get too close to the chain link.
Yeah. Don't get too close to the chain link. I mean, there are people that'll snatch you, throw you in a van. Windowless van, too. It's going to be scary in there. That is wild, man. So a district assistant superintendent of instruction and support services, he says that the best guarantee that everything is legitimate is to follow policy and make sure who you are talking to is who they say they are. But the policy doesn't say you have to ask for a badge. They're just skating around it, all of them. Oh, phew.
He's literally saying it over and over and over again.
Stay
away from the chain link.
Yep. This guy actually does say, he stresses that anyone in any situation has the right to verify a police officer's identity. Yeah. That is a fact.
Yeah.
At any time, you can ask a cop, let me see your badge, and they got to fucking show it to you. Mm-hmm. Who are you? What's your fucking... They have to tell you that shit. So that's
constantly say, I don't believe you. And they will take more and more steps to prove it. And eventually you'll have
eventually it'll build up. But if the only things they have are handcuffs, radio, not connected to shit,
right,
and badge from the mall, you probably fucking are going to, by then, I don't think so.
Right.
So,
badge that says security, it's already over.
It's over. Uniformed officers in marked units are readily identifiable as police officers, but plainclothes and other officers must carry a badge and a police identification card with a photograph. Yeah. They'll show you two forms. Citizens also should be unafraid to call 911 to check the identity of an officer, especially if you're at a school. When the police are refused permission to arrest someone on school grounds, this cop said, quote, "We don't take him. That's the end of it. We just wait till he goes home." Yeah, you don't need to take him at school. Right.
You know where
you know where he's going to fucking go. He's a kid. He's not going to go on the lam. Right. He's going to fucking run for the border. What's he doing here? So now... The kids go back to school, and they're a little bit freaked out. One kid here, a 15-year-old, said, "I think it's the school's fault that kid got killed." These kids are blaming. I'll read some quotes. "I think it's the school's fault that kid got killed." Another kid here said, "I think it's terrible because the school should have taken more precautions before letting Robert go out with a man who said he was law enforcement." His friend agreed and said they should have called the police station and checked if he was a real policeman or a fake. And then another kid said they should have stopped before they reacted. I think that's what they tell the kids: stop before you react.
Right? Yeah.
Literally, I think he just burned the fucking principal with his own move. That kid's awesome. Who is this? Paul Cedillo, 16. He said they should have stopped before they reacted. I like this kid. He's like, let's go smoke a blunt behind the school, and you're like, all right, that's that kid. They said that counseling was available. A kid at the junior high said, "We're afraid. We all thought we were safe over there, and we're not anymore." Jesus, they're afraid to go to the high school. Yeah. Another student said, "No one is smiling, even the ones who didn't know him. It's just weird that it happened at our school. That's something you see on Unsolved Mysteries." Except it's solved, so you wouldn't see it there. Another kid said that Farley, that she had seen Farley around the school with his girlfriend in the hall, and also says they should have checked identification. Sure. And another kid said it's kind of scary that anyone could come in school, act like a cop, and take a student without letting parents know before taking him away.
Why does everybody unilaterally agree?
Well, another kid said, quote, "My dad's a cop, and he says the principal should have called the police station." That's Courtney Pennington, 16. I hope she hangs out with Cedillo over there because they're a fucking fun combination. They'd be a good time.
My daddy says.
My dad says, and he's right.
Yeah.
Another Roswell high school sophomore here said that the school shouldn't be blamed. She said, quote, "I don't think it was the school's fault at all."
Whose fault is it?
Jesus Christ. Another one standing next to her agrees with her, said, quote, "I don't think you can blame anyone except the people who did it." Well, I think there are people to blame, actually. Yeah. You had to go through many layers.
When bad people convince good people that they're good, then the good people are dummies. Because they didn't.
Yeah.
It's not even good convincing. It's bad convincing.
Terrible.
They certainly fucked up.
If you said, "Show me your badge," and then looked at it for more than 2 seconds, this guy would have dropped it on the floor and ran away. He wouldn't have. Yeah. He wouldn't have. The ruse is done. He wouldn't have stayed there and argued with you. "No, I am a cop. Call my supervisor right now." What's he going to fucking say?
Right.
He would have ran away. So anyway, the Ken Wilson, who's representing his family, obviously Stephen's family, said Wednesday that the family is gratified that the school district has seen fit to acknowledge they did not request or receive any police identification before handing Stephen over to his abductor. "We appreciate they gave us the grounds for a monstrous, massive lawsuit against them, proved their irresponsibility in writing. Thank you. And released it to the newspaper as well, just in case, so everyone knows it." Another one said here, who is this? This is the attorney. He said, though, that they're still dismayed, the family, that this crime was so easily accomplished when a simple request for identification would have avoided the tragedy. Holy shit. They said that the school district is going to make a complete and forthright statement, and don't worry about it. They're not hiding anything, Jimmy. They're fine. Yeah. They're totally fine. The lawyer also said these questions are aggravated by the school's refusal to make a statement regarding the facts surrounding the abduction because they hadn't yet. And they were like, "We will." And then she said, "Our questions are compounded by the present reports, which we hear where a conflict with the original information we'd received from reliable sources." So now it's just information. Anyway, they're talking about a policy change. Good. Superintendent Fred Pomeroy said they had a school board meeting. Imagine those parents there. Yeah. Actual reason to be angry at a school board meeting. Hey, a fucking kid got fucking murdered with an ice pick because you assholes handed it to him. Not, "I don't like that book." And fucking, you're scaring the shit out of teachers, for Christ's sake. Crazy
all
fucks.
Visitors go through administration. Well, when administration is just handing children over to murderers,
here you
what
go.
The fuck?
No, put those handcuffs on him. Yeah, that's perfect.
I want to see Dateline do one of these, like, what would you do things, and go to all the schools in the country and have somebody pose, I mean, obviously, with the help of law enforcement.
Yeah. It's like the opposite of To Catch a Predator. Is what it is. It's you're being the predator, and you're trying to, the people who rightfully have the kids, you're trying to see if you can pry them from them. Let's see. That's the weirdest show ever.
Catch the accidental predator.
Yeah. It's fucking, To Frame a Predator, it should be called. That's awesome. You
Catch
just have
the
people
predator facilitators. Jesus Christ.
Oh, my God. So, had a board meeting and said that proposed policy changes meet the demands of all concerned parties. We're good now. Everything's fine. They said that the proposals are that law enforcement officers show a badge and a photo identification if a student's going to be removed from school. Yeah. That seems pretty basic. They also said that they would now call the officer's superior and verify the credentials.
There you go.
Wow. What a fucking...
Novel.
What did the aliens bring that to you from the sky? Did you not think of that? The board plans to vote on the revisions in the next meeting. Let's not let's cool down, let cooler heads prevail, and we'll see how we feel next week. So the family, as part of this whole thing, wants the school to pay to establish a Robert Stephen Farley Scholarship Fund. Quote, in order to further Stephen's ambitions to other deserving youth, because he wanted to go to law school. So they were saying, let's, for kids who might want to do that. His mother thanked the people of Roswell for the tremendous support and sympathy they've expressed to us at this terrible time in our lives. She also said she wanted to thank the news media, quote, for the professional manner in which they've covered this incident and for the respect they've shown to the family by honoring our need for privacy and our grief.
News media hasn't called us a bunch of irresponsible cunts. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have you ever heard for the professional manner in which they have covered this incident, for the respect they have shown to the family by honoring the need for privacy in their grief, with the words "the media" before that, the news media, and then those words after?
Never.
That's the opposite. It's almost like she's being sarcastic. Like, thanks for showing our family by honoring our need for privacy in our time of grief. Thanks a lot, guys. Really, really appreciate it. Tracy, the girlfriend, she has been not talking at all. Like, she's been like, she doesn't want to talk about it. She has a press conference, actually.
Oh, boy.
This kid's like, at this point, she's a 17-year-old girl holding a press conference, which is pretty, any teenager who's going to hold a press conference, that's pretty impressive. That's impressive.
She's shown a lot of maturity in the first place, rebuffing a 22-year-old's sexual advances. She's a grown-up. She's fucking
totally
mad mature.
But I mean, to any teenager, to give them a press conference and not have them say in the 90s, not have them go, hey, smoke weed every day is probably a fucking miracle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or some sort of like holding up a W with two hands going, whatever.
some bullshit. You know what I mean? Yeah, something here. Fucking who knows? So, she said, I hope they had the press conference outside. She said, I hope you don't mind that we're having the press conference here. I'm having it here because I'm an outdoor person and I like the outside. She said, I want people to know who Robert Stephen Farley was. I won't use the past tense form of the verb, however, because he is not gone. He's in all of our hearts and will be until we meet again.
She is so much smarter than me. That was impressive.
Super articulate, right?
What? Use the past tense of the verb.
I won't use the past tense form of the verb, however, because I want people to know who Robert Farley was. And then she said she's not going to use was again. That was just...
Yeah, but I would have to Google that sentence to know how to write that.
Fuck is she talking about now?
How do I say I won't use the word was intelligently?
How do I do that?
And she knocked it out of the park in the first draft. It's incredible.
I scream, he's not really dead, and then I kick over some of the flowers people sent? No? Shit, okay.
I won't use the past tense of the verb. That's incredible.
That's
I'm
wild.
impressed.
She's an honor student, too, so she's smart.
She's genius, yeah.
She said he wanted to be a lawyer. Right away, this portrays the type of personality he has. See, she did that. Strong, ambitious, very determined, stubborn, but willing to work as hard as necessary to get the job done. If I had to describe him in one word, it would be love, she said. He loved everyone, forgave everyone for everything. He had so many friends because he was so patient and understanding.
Yeah.
Nice kid. Everybody says he's a goddamn nice kid. And she's doing the same thing like Martin Short does when he talks about his dead wife.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Yeah.
Have you seen the thing where somebody asks him about his wife? Like
Never.
She's still alive and didn't know that she's dead?
I can't do it.
It's terrible, dude. He's sitting there and
I couldn't.
They're just like, so yeah, how's everything with your wife and everything like that? And he just sits there like stone-faced, like, are you a fucking asshole? But then he realizes the person doesn't know.
They don't know.
You can see him process and go, oh, he's not being a dick. He doesn't know.
He has no
So
clue.
rather than destroy the whole interview, he just says, oh, she's the light of my life. She's wonderful and I love her so much. And
wow.
That's what he does. He just pretends like she's still alive.
Good for Martin Short for being a bigger person.
Rather than jumping across the table and choking him and have him go, you're Martin Short, what the fuck, man? Do that thing where you put your hair up and then make the fucking arms back and forth like a little weird dinosaur. Do that thing.
I had no idea someone so small could be so strong. I can't breathe.
Jesus, you must have played hockey, you Canadian fucking crazy fuck.
Good for him, man. That guy's awesome. God, he's so cool. He's such
a cool
a great
guy.
person.
And him and Steve Martin are like the two coolest old guys to hang out together. And they hang out and tour together. I'm like, these two should be hanging out together.
If they weren't who they are, I would hate that show. Like anything that they do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anything they do together, I would loathe it.
Anyone else did that, I would fucking hate them for the end of time, till the end of time. But the fact that it was them, I can't hate them. Can't do it. I love them. I love them too much.
Somebody asked Martin Short what it's like getting roles again or whatever, and then Steve Martin goes, "I think they're talking to me."
That's amazing. I love
they're beautiful together. I love
their
them
interviews
so much.
together are hilarious. They just break each other's balls. It's so fucking great.
Steve Martin's just God, he's so great. Just an amazing person. They don't exist anymore like that.
No.
That generation itself is just they didn't grow up to be that, and somehow they did.
They're so fucking weird. It's
so
great.
Fun. Yeah.
I watched because I'll watch any Steve Martin movie from over the years, and I was looking on, I think it was like Peacock, and I was trying to see what Steve Martin movies they had because I wanted to watch a Steve Martin movie. So I watched The Jerk, obviously, again for the 40,000th time, and then I saw they had The House Sitter on there. You ever seen that one?
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's so bad. And I'm like, how do you get Steve Martin and Goldie Hawn together and have it be complete shit? How badly do you have to fuck things up? This is worse than Cool as Ice. I don't care for this at all.
I'll be the judge of that tonight. But
please do.
I didn't mind that. I didn't mind that with Goldie Hawn. The lies.
It's watchable, but like it could be so much better.
I love the plot and the chick that's in it. She's in all kinds of other things. When he gets her like almost naked on the couch and they're like making out and she's just in her bra. As a kid, I was like, oh my God, somebody that dresses that conservatively can be that fucking hot.
Yeah, and whose head looks like a 12-year-old boy.
Yeah. Her body was insane. I was stunned. I was like, oh my God, that's under those awful Lane Bryants.
That's under that flower print fucking thing with the overalls and shit. Like that was under her Wesleyan sweatshirt, XXX size Wesleyan sweatshirt, because that's what she was wearing.
Button up fucking romper, that weird thing.
Oh, man.
And she's a stunner. Holy shit.
That movie could be better. We'll put it that way.
Be. Yeah,
it's fine.
It definitely could be. My favorite part's when he gets the homeless people to be her parents. That's fucking incredible.
That is. I love that they show up. Here they are. That movie does get it starts slow, but it gets better as it goes, as everything starts to fall apart.
Yeah, at the end when everything's a shit show, that's when it's the best.
That's when it's good. Yeah, it takes a while.
But the very end is stupid as fuck. Getting on a bus and then they both lie, it's dumb.
Of
ridiculous.
Course. Yeah, fuck that shit. So,
go on, sorry.
No, I started it. I said, hey, have you ever seen House Sitter? You sorry about
so many times.
I know, so have I too. I just watched it the other night. So evidence here, they have an ice pick, handcuffs, the starter fluid that's mostly ether, items they believed were used in the abduction and slaying, and they send that immediately to the FBI lab. They're like, we don't want to fuck this up. You take that here. And they said that the police chief personally delivered the items to the crime lab in Quantico, Virginia. He flew them there.
Straight to the FBI.
Handed them over. They said that they believe the findings are going to be substantial to the case. They said, though, they could get soil, blood, hair, fiber, all that kind of shit. This is the beginning of DNA, so they're like, hey, we can do some stuff. Now, at this point, Clark and Kersey are both blaming each other for the murder.
Oh, boy.
Because that's how it works, obviously. They do both admit they threw a washcloth with the ether on it, a policeman's badge or security badge, handcuffs, handcuff key, and the ice pick, and from their car as they drove away from the tavern.
Okay.
They found the badge, the key, and the washcloth. Or no, they haven't found the badge, the key, or the washcloth. Okay. They found some other shit, but not that. So they said they're doing additional searches. They have volunteers searching over 26 miles of mesquite and cactus-covered snake-infested land, they call it.
Yeah, fucking wasteland. The wasteland of New Mexico.
We're looking for a key, guys, okay? But not like a handcuff, tiny one, a handcuff key. You know, the tiny, that's what we're looking for. So keep an eye out, all right? Sounds good.
I think this snake may have got it. I'm going to follow him around a couple days, see if I can get it out of him.
With a plastic bag like Chong looking for his weed. That's what I'm going to do. Really blew the dog's mind, man. So he said, I have no hope, or the prosecutor said, I had no hope of finding the stuff they were looking for. They're very small items, and it's not a suitcase. And unless you've been in that been out there and walked around, you have no idea how tough this job was.
Okay.
Now,
but listen, I think you've got enough evidence anyway. If you don't find a key, a badge, and a washcloth,
I think
who
it's
gives
good.
a shit? Yeah.
You got blaming dual confessions. I think we got this probably.
Yeah, you got about
they got
80%,
the ice pick.
Yeah, you got 80%
the
of
murder
everything
weapon.
else. The actual murder weapon matters.
That's the important part. So the family, for a minute, is satisfied with what the school is doing about they're going to change the policy. Then another thing happens. His mother, Marilyn, Stephen's mother here, she says, now, his name's Robert Stephen, but in everything people call him Stephen, then a couple people call him Robert, but I thought more people called him Stephen, so I'm calling him Stephen. He was called Stephen in the court documents, so I called him Stephen, but then once in a while, I don't know what the fuck. So anyway, she said an incident last week may have changed her mind that maybe things are going better. Her father, Stephen's grandfather, went to the school to buy 9 yearbooks, okay? Because they had a big special page dedicated to Stephen. They wanted to give it to the people in the family. So he went down with $225 for 9 yearbooks. And the yearbooks were presented to Marilyn and to her father there. What pissed her off, though, was when he went in to pick them up, the 9 of them, school personnel failed to check his identification. They let this man walk in. Part of the new security policy instituted after negotiations with the relatives who threatened a lawsuit if they didn't change their policy. They didn't want their money. They just said, make it better. Make other kids not get fucking kidnapped. These are nice people. Nice people. So Marilyn, his mom, said, quote, I was extremely upset. Extremely upset. She said, I think that's what was such a shock that she thought it's, what the fuck? Already? You're giving it up? Her father hadn't planned to do it. He wasn't doing a security check. He was just going to pay for the yearbooks, but they never checked anything. So he's like, well, what the fuck? So she said, it's crazy, honestly. She says, quote, everybody thinks just like I did. That can't happen to me. We're going to have to take responsibility. Sitting back waiting for someone else to take the first step, it could waste another life. Sure, yeah. The school believes that school officials may believe modern problems can't be solved, she said, but she believes they can. She said, I think administrators are now living back in the golden age of discipline. Rules were set and obeyed or kids were punished, but that doesn't happen now. She said that she needs the administrators to know they have a responsibility to protect students, quote, from whether from a bogus policeman or an irate parent or no matter who.
Sure.
Good. So, outside of court, when these two are out there, one of the public defender who's been assigned to each of them asked the prosecutor, Rutledge, to drop the death penalty for both of them. Why don't you drop the death penalty for them?
Why?
So this lawyer recalls, because, why don't you say you're not going to seek the death penalty for these clients? Come on. So this lawyer claims that the prosecutor, Rutledge, told him he would never drop the death penalty. Yeah. He said that Mitchell claims that he says, quote, it's an election year. That's what he claimed he said.
It's going to politicize this thing.
Rutledge denied making the comment, saying that he refused the question because he knew that he had all this physical evidence. And he said, quote, I told him this is southeast New Mexico. There's no reason to go any further. That's what he said he told him. So differing deals here. So the district attorney here, Tom Rutledge, let's see, he thinks real highly of himself, this guy. Yeah. He's one of these like, I'm Mr. Law and Order, and I'm doing this and that, and everything's by the book and perfect, and we'll find out how he fucks something up royally here. Okay. I mean, fucking royally. This is like, we always say we make fun of this, we make fun of that. This is the type of shit we're talking about. some bumbling asshole in southeastern New Mexico doesn't know how to fucking do something right, or, school administrators handing a child to a murderer and going, bye, have a good one. He did have handcuffs on him. So what ended up happening was he said he was going to seek the death penalty. Then about 11 months later, there's a problem here. And the problem is that within a period of 10 days, in a bunch of hearings and meetings, he ends up getting Clark to say he'll plead guilty. No death penalty, obviously. And the other guy, this was in lieu of them being set free, by the way. Okay?
What?
Yeah. Well, this is what happened, okay? He ends up pleading guilty. Here's how it works. They said there was an announcement, a plea bargain agreement saving Clark from a possible death sentence was the only way the current district attorney could salvage his case. The trial's date expired in June because they did not file an extension for it.
Oh, my God.
They failed to do the paperwork in a timely fashion to where the law says for a speedy trial. And it's the prosecutor's law, too, this law. That's ridiculous. So they said that, that could happen. They said the law technically mandates a dismissal of the case, though the Supreme Court could override that. They said such a mistake was extremely exceptional and not typical, saying that the severity of the death penalty case, of a murder case, they should pay attention. I would say the guy who's running against him for district attorney, by the way, said this is not simply a question about the mistake. It's a question about the cover-up of a mistake. So, this is how it happened. In hearings in February and April, attorneys asked about the need they talked about the need to ask the New Mexico Supreme Court for permission to extend the trial date for Clark and Kersey to beyond 6 months, which is totally normal. Yeah. Sometimes they don't go to trial for years, but you have to file extensions saying all parties are okay with this. Sure. This person's not trying to get a trial and you're delaying it so he sits in jail.
Yeah.
That's not okay. So the period of time of state law requires the cases to come to trial. This is a so-called 6-month rule protecting defendants' constitutional right to a speedy trial. Now, the Supreme Court liberally grants extensions, but it strictly enforces the rule when paperwork isn't filed normally. On February 10th at a hearing, the court record reflects the attorneys agreeing that the defense will seek an extension if a time problem occurs. And on April 3rd, both defense attorneys said they had conflicts that would not allow them to go to trial on time. So the prosecutor just assumed that they filed it, so he didn't.
Oh, my God.
Guess what? Who's got a fucking... What are we talking about? Who has motivation to not file something and then it'll get dismissed? How about you take care of that kind of shit? Don't let the defense... What are you, fucking kidding me?
Why would you rely on the defense to do anything that furthers your cause? Ever.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Well, they'll take care of it. They wouldn't want the case to get dismissed, I'm sure.
Why would they want that?
They wouldn't want their clients to get off scot-free on fucking murder charges. So, wow. This is fucking crazy. September 15th, as the parties were preparing for trial, Rutledge, the DA, was reviewing the case file with police officers who would be testifying and discovered no one asked the Supreme Court to extend the 6-month deadline. So they had to have an immediate, request with the Supreme Court to get an immediate fucking extension. Otherwise, they have to let these kids go, period.
Right.
That's it. These kids. They're not kids, they're guys. So the defense attorney said, quote, the one who didn't file it, he said, it's the DA's rule. They have everything to lose if it's not filed, so they usually do it. I was under the impression it was filed. Not my fucking problem.
I could give a fuck.
I couldn't give a fuck. Yeah, dismiss it. I don't care. Now, Rutledge, the DA, says his office was at fault for not making sure the extension had been filed. He said, anytime anything needs to be done in a case, it's our responsibility. I'm the district attorney. I take responsibility for fucking up royally and almost letting 2 child killers go. So a day after the mistake was discovered, the assistant district attorney, who is responsible for the case files, resigned. So they said, someone's going down for this, and it's not guy who's up for re-election. It's fucking this guy.
And
that's who it is.
That's appointed. That guy can leave.
He's taken off. He's going to resign. So, he resigned. In the following days, the guy readied the paperwork and asked the Supreme Court to consider a late extension at that point. So it's at this point where a deal is brokered. Because it's like, listen, Supreme Court might give you an extension. They might not. Maybe my guy will get the death penalty or he'll walk free. How about we make a deal?
Yeah,
what do you say?
If it's based on electric chair or free, maybe we talk.
Maybe we talk. And that's exactly now the prosecutor's ready to make a deal. And he says that the next day they made a deal. And he said, in light of recent developments is how he started it.
In light of recent fuck-ups.
Yeah, but he would plead guilty to murder and kidnapping and receive at minimum a life sentence. So it's not like it's, he's going to get 10 years here. The defense attorney said that the paperwork mishap and the potential for the Supreme Court throwing the cases out was all that saved him from the death penalty. He said, there's no doubt in my mind Rutledge would never have dropped the death penalty if it wasn't for the rule extension. That was my bargaining chip, and I think I saved the boy's life.
Probably.
Well, whoever didn't file that saved the boy's life, but you noticed it, so that's great. So, the plea was filed and all that shit. So he ends up also in the same deal. He says that he would not plea bargain with Kersey, though, which is so strange. I'll plea bargain with the guy who I'm pretty sure
I can put
did
the
all
ice
the
pick
killing.
in his hand.
But this guy I won't plea bargain with, which is very strange. He said, though, the next day that he will drop the death penalty for him.
Okay.
He said that he didn't feel it was right to pursue the death penalty for one defendant when he agreed to life in prison for the other, especially the one who did all the fucking killing. Right. That's ridiculous. He said, they said this is one of the lawyers said if they hadn't blown the 6-month rule, the only life sentence Clark or Kersey would have gotten would have been handed down by a jury. The mistake is what made the deal. The facts didn't change at all. So they dropped all of that, but Kersey's still going to go to trial, though.
Really?
Yeah, they give him the extension. He's going to go to trial. The trial starts 6 days after the election. Mm-hmm. So there's that. He says, I hope, this is Rutledge, I hope that the people will look at what happened and listen to the one key phrase. And he says, that's that Marilyn Kendrick said, this is what my son would have wanted. Mm-hmm. Now he's saying he's doing it not because they fucked up and had no choice, but because that he was a nice kid and didn't like violence, he wouldn't want them put to death. That's what the family's saying now to help the prosecutor save a little bit of face here. So, the father, Luther Farley, Stephen's father, said he's not pleased with the deals. He said, these guys are being let off easy and it's just wrong. I want those boys given the most fair trial this country can give, and then I want to see them die in the gas chamber or the electric chair or whatever they got in New Mexico.
Well, in New Mexico, I think it's black scorpions.
I was going to say, I think they just tie you to a fucking pole outside and let the elements take you.
Yeah.
Snakes and iguanas and shit just nibble at your ball sack while the sun rots you away.
And weird cat-related animals that...
Lynx and some fire ants.
Some ring-tailed something or other.
A ring-tailed lemur with fire ants on his back. Coming for you.
That controls scorpions for no reason.
Yeah, he can make a call to them and they swarm. So during because Clark pled guilty, like we said, his sentencing, he addresses the court and stated to the family that he was sorry. That's what he did.
I'm sure he did.
His mother gave a tearful plea for mercy. And the court heard, though, a taped message from Luther Farley, who asked that the court impose the maximum penalty allowed by law.
He sent a Maxell?
He just sent it to you. He was like, I'm not fucking flying all the way to New Mexico. You know what I want.
First things first, fuck New Mexico. Second, fry this bitch.
Fry this motherfucker up. So also the police officers involved in the case testified and said that Clark has never shown any remorse for his act whatsoever. The judge says, you, sir, may fuck off, life in prison. Yeah. Now, that is life for the murder charge plus 24 years for kidnapping as well. Yeah. So he won't be eligible for parole for 42 years. What? Starting from 91, which is now coming up very soon. That is 11 years from now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he'll be the prosecutor said, we're satisfied with him getting basically 24 years on top of a life sentence. So he's not eligible for parole till he's served 42 years and he'd be 65 then.
Yeah, that's old.
That's old. So that's old to get out of jail and have any energy to kill anymore, I guess. So Kelsey goes to his trial now. Jerry Kelsey here. So
not Kelsey.
He's Or Kersey. Did I say Kelsey?
Casey.
I did say Kel. It's Kersey. Yeah. So Jerome Kersey, the ball player, right. like the Trailblazer. So anyway, they after conferring with the family of Robert Stephen Farley, the prosecution decided against seeking the death penalty. And like we said, he said, you have two individuals where they're both culpable in the same crime. You commit one to life in prison. I don't see how you can go ahead and put the death penalty on the other when there's no tangible difference between their acts at all. Well, actually, there is. One killed the guy.
One said, hand me another murder weapon.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, here you go. She also said the Supreme Court reviews the issue of proportionality among the death penalty. So the Supreme Court would probably strike that death penalty down anyway.
Yeah.
Because the other guy didn't get it. And that we've had a million cases like that. She said it's basically a review to determine if the law is being applied even-handedly. So the mother here, Marilyn, that's Stephen's mother, she said, why would we ask for the death penalty for one if we didn't ask for it for the other? She said that they called me and gave me the options of what they wanted to go after.
Wow.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but their hands were tied, though. That's the problem. What do you want? Although they'll probably get struck down on appeal, and the other guy, we almost had to set him free. But what do you want, though, really? We want to make you happy.
How do you want us to exact revenge for you?
Let me ask you, how do you think you'll fuck it up the least? What do you have the least chance of fucking up? Do it that way. How's that?
Hey, ma'am, since you're not a lawyer nor have any sort of law background, tell us what you want us to do.
What do you want us to do? So Marilyn says, quote, Stephen was a Christian, and I think he felt that justice would have been done in the end. Okay. So he's like, there you go. He'll get his in the whatever judgment day. So Kersey testifies in his own trial here. He says that he went into the building, saw him, being stabbed. He said he heard Farley yell, "Why are you doing this to me?" And they asked him, "Did you intend that Robert Stephen Farley be killed?" And then in tears on the stand, he said, "No, never." They said that he stepped on a wire going into the building, and Clark told him to hand it over. And that's when he said he saw him wrap it around and twist it. And he said he drove back to Hobbs while Clark threw various items out the window. He said, what was going through my mind is, why did he do this, and how is I going to get out of this?
Yeah.
So closing arguments here. They say that the prosecutor obviously says we proved him guilty. She said even if he didn't kill Farley, he can be found guilty of murder if he helped, encouraged, or caused the murder. If he handed a kidnapped person to the murderer, then handed him a murder weapon afterwards.
Right.
Things like that are facilitating murder, right?
Where he participated in the murder? That part.
That part, that, and the kidnapping, too. That's the other thing. She said, quote, the real issue is the defendant's state of mind. What did Kersey mean to have happen? What was he thinking about? And obviously the prosecution says that he was, quote, cool, calm, and at ease with what he was doing. She said this whole crime was committed with incredible smugness because he thought he would be long gone from Roswell by the time the police ever knew a crime had been committed. Sure. Do you not realize that Roswell's not the only town? He wasn't going to, South America. He was going to Hobbs. They'll still find you in Hobbs.
Yeah. And the other one was going to be going back to fucking Albuquerque eventually. It's
well,
still
he lived in Roswell.
No, Kersey,
yeah.
though. Yeah.
Kersey lived in Albuquerque, yeah.
Yeah.
Hobbs lived in Roswell.
Where do you, either of you're still staying in the same state, for Christ's sake.
No shit. So deliberations, it's a 6-man, 6-woman jury. Uh-huh. Deliberations last 2 hours, and they find him guilty. He's obviously fucking guilty. He admitted to everything. Sentencing comes in. He faces 38 years in addition to the life sentence, and the life sentence amounts to 30 years before possibility of parole. That's a life sentence in New Mexico.
68 then?
So, yeah, we're 18 plus that, yeah. So we're talking 60. Well, no, that would be that's 38 there. So that'd be 68, yeah. But then
if
I don't know.
Concurrent, then it might just be 38.
Well, it's 30. It's not concurrent. It's on top, but it's 30. But then you'd have to do that 30. But then do the 38. Does the parole time for the 38 years go along with the 30 years that you're in there, or does that then start over? Do you have to do 30 years and then half of that, and then half of the 38? That's what I'm thinking probably. So you probably end up doing
reset the shot clock. Yeah. He should have to do it again.
Probably end up doing almost 50 years before your chance of parole. So, he says I'm sorry, this is the mother, Marilyn, and during the sentencing tells Kersey, quote, 14 and a half months ago, you changed my life. You took away something very precious to me. You've given me a life sentence. You've given a lot of people a life sentence. I feel sorry for your parents.
Wow.
That's fucking awesome.
That's a burner.
That is great. That's like why Old Dog shot that Korean lady in fucking Menace to Society.
Sorry for your mother.
I feel sorry for your mother. Yeah. So outside now, then Marilyn looked over at Kersey's mom and said, Mrs. Kersey, I know how you feel. If I can help you through this, I will. I know the pain.
Oh.
And then after the whole thing, they were seen for several minutes hugging each other and crying and talking to each other.
Kids. They both know.
That's most of the time, though, you don't get that sort of maturity from somebody to go, listen, you're sad and I'm sad. You blame them. Well, you must have done something to make your kid an asshole to fucking kill my kid. And
maybe
you know
I
should
be a Christian, James. Everybody on the Christian side of this fucking argument is being so mature.
They're being very mature. Yeah. Well, we'll get them in different arguments and see how mature they are. You know what I mean? So I think it's a wash, Jimmy.
Yeah.
So you may be. So Kersey, just prior to being sentenced, he turned toward Marilyn and said, quote, from my heart, I'm sorry. Nothing I can say will bring him back. I'm sorry, and that's not for the court, but you. My mother has lost her son too. I'm not crying for me, but for her. And the judge says, okay, you, sir, may fuck off. Life plus 18 years.
Okay.
So there you go. It's like 39 before parole. So basically the same as the other guy. But the other guy got a couple more years because he did the actual killing. So the Marilyn said she's satisfied with the district attorney's decision. She said it put an end to a lot of things to not go for the death penalty. We can just start going on with life. Stephen would have wanted it this way. And the father said he was pissed off and he wasn't there for the verdict, but he's happy the guy's going to jail. Yep. Tracy said that she's just glad it's over, obviously. She also said it has improved my faith in the judicial system, and it showed my generation that justice can be done.
Her generation?
In the 90s.
When did justice not get done?
Well, then that was 93. Then 2 years later, they were like, OJ's not guilty? What the fuck? For real? Wait, never mind. Hey, hey, generation, remember when we said that justice can be done and that everybody, scratch all that. Scratch it all. DNA doesn't matter. I'm telling you, it's fuck the justice system's fucked. And
case is still open, you guys.
That's what happens. So after that, 1993, there is a wrongful death suit as well.
Yeah.
Both of them that are sentenced are being sued. Marilyn and Luther here, on behalf of the estate of Robert Stephen Farley, filed a wrongful death complaint against Michael Clark and Jerry Kersey, and alleging that her son suffered great pain and mental anguish and lost his expected lifetime earnings, which is he was going to be a lawyer and he was only 17, so that's 40 years of lawyer money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And saying the slaying caused his estate to incur medical and burial expenses as well.
Sure.
Now, in addition to that, this whole crew was on the Maury Povich show.
Really?
Yeah. When they used to just fight and take kids to boot camp and shit and do paternity tests.
Yell at
so, yeah, it's just you're not the father type shit. So during this, the whole show was devoted to this whole thing, and it was a lot of it was dedicated to greater campus security, protect the kids type of shit. The show featured an interview with Jerry Kersey. He was on there.
Really?
Absolutely. He was on there saying he posed as a police officer and all that type of shit. And Marilyn wanted him there. Really? Mom wanted him there. She said, quote, I wanted Jerry to tell how easy it was to get Stephen out of school, and that was my main purpose in taping the show. Mm-hmm. That's it. So that's wild. So also they had Tracy Jarvis was there, his friend Danny Coleman, who he lived with, the guardian who got the phone call, Debbie Coleman. They all got flown into New York and all that type of shit. And so there you go. Now, Kersey appeals this whole thing, by the way, quickly.
Why would you?
He appeals. He is trying to find out. He says the kidnapping conviction was not supported by evidence that could establish each element of the crime beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you fucking kidding me?
You went on TV and admitted that you posed as a police officer.
You talked to 2 different school employees and told them, I'm here to kidnap a child, and then did it in front of their eyes.
Fuck.
And then took him to be murdered. He contends that the state failed to prove that Farley was held for service against his will. He was
handcuffed him.
Handcuffed him. How the fuck do you do that? He said that they also failed to prove that Farley was taken with the intent to hold him for ransom. Jesus Christ. So, wow, this is fucking ridiculous. He argues that, he was held to service against his will. That's what he said they didn't do it. We define, this is the court, hold to service element of kidnapping as requiring that the victim be held against his or her will or perform some act or to forego performance of some act for the benefit of someone or something. So that's pretty anything. You can make, if you tell a guy walk into that car and they weren't planning on doing that, that's kidnapping.
Sure.
If you're doing it against their will. Applying the above standard of review to the definition of hold to service against the victim's will, we hold there was sufficient evidence that Clark and Kersey held Farley for service against his will. Kersey took Farley from the high school through deception and force. No shit. They were going to slap him around a little bit, teach him a lesson. That's all kidnapping. You can't kidnap someone then go, we were just going to slap him around a little bit and teach him a lesson. We're sorry. Never mind. We were going to drop him off before the buses got there at the end of the fucking day. So, they said the court also concluded that the restraint and incidental movement to the murder, the victim did not constitute holding for service under New Mexico's kidnapping statute, blah, blah, blah. Hold on. Kersey also contends the state failed to present sufficient evidence to support a finding that Farley was taken with the intent to hold him for ransom. He said, we never intended that. They said they find substantial evidence presented that this to support this alternative theory of kidnapping. Kersey admitted to calling Farley's mother and demanding $50,000. You did these things.
Right. That's the thing.
His argument is, I didn't intend to kidnap him or collect a ransom. But you kidnapped him and then fucking held him asking for ransom. So that doesn't matter what your intentions were. It's what you did. That's fucking crazy.
You're not charged with premeditated kidnapping. You're just charged with doing it, and you did it.
Jesus fucking Christ, man. Because a rational jury could have found Kersey guilty of kidnapping on either theory presented by the state, we affirm the conviction of kidnapping and obviously murder, and you can keep on fucking off and taking a hike, assholes.
Wow,
so both of those assholes are still in prison till the early 2030s, and then they'll be out and they'll hear this podcast
and they'll be upset or at least shamed.
Good. They should at least be shamed. Fuck them right in their fucking asses. So there you go. That is Roswell, New Mexico, a non-alien murder story. There you go.
I hope that the 2 of them are terrible inmates and get time tacked on and never get out.
Yeah,
They're
I hope so too.
Bad people. Just very bad
absolutely.
people.
Fuck yeah. And at least nobody said there was no conspiracy. I looked for it too, Jimmy. I looked all through the papers. I could not find one person going like, maybe he was kidnapped by aliens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when he was missing, I'm like, there's got to be one asshole going
saying he's probably got a probe in his ass.
Yeah, I mean, who took him? I mean, he could have been taken by, whatever the fuck. Because especially, too, it hadn't come out yet, but the way Fuller dressed up, he put like black sunglasses and dressed in all black. So it's like the Men in Black came and got him, and they probably traded him to the aliens for like something else. That's all I'm saying. He's probably on some planet with like a tube hooked up to his brain,
in
just like
for never dying batteries.
they wanted a stuffed crust pizza. They said they didn't understand how you could get cheese into a crust, so like they were like, we'll trade, and then we were like, all right, cool. So it's that and the stuffed crust, and then they're gonna bring back something else.
These batteries that never die.
The batteries that never die. Yeah, that's what we want. That's what we get in exchange for this kid and a stuffed crust pizza. We get real everlast batteries. So there you go. That is Roswell, New Mexico. Fucking mess and a dirty mess.
What a story, man.
What a story. What a fucking brazen thing to do.
It's literally every parent's nightmare that you send your kids somewhere, no matter if it's school or anywhere, that you expect them to be safe and they never come home.
They never come home.
It's the worst.
And it's even worse when if it's one thing if he's walking home and somebody pulls him, plucks him up over the chain link and fucking throws him in a van. But for the school administrators to hand him to the murderers is a new one. That's not done often, honestly, I don't think.
This is
not
the
done
reason
often.
I don't hand my children off to any agent of any sort that in exchange as a divorced parent. I would never hand my kid to anybody other than their mother. It's never happening.
Let's see some ID, Chief. Yeah. That's simple. There you go. Perfect. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. But that's Roswell, New Mexico. Jesus, if you like that crazy-ass story or the show in general, tell the world about it. Get on Apple Podcasts. Give us 5 stars.
Tell us your favorite Steve Martin movie.
There you go. Your favorite Steve Martin movie, and it should be The Jerk. Anyway, so
there's only one.
There's a lot of good ones, though, so I'll accept a few.
Three Amigos is pretty damn good.
Chevy
Chase doesn't even ruin it.
I'll take My Blue Heaven. He's good. That's
so
good.
good.
It's fantastic. So there you go. Tell us your favorite Steve Martin movie. Also, you should head over to shutupandgivememurder.com and get all of your merchandise and your tickets to live shows throughout the year. A lot of them are sold out, but you can keep checking back because they're rescheduled shows from 2020, so people have the option to return their tickets. So if they do, tickets pop up every once in a while. So check on those sold out ones. A couple of shows that I know are not sold out. Get your tickets to. You can still get them. New Orleans in July, and then Milwaukee in August, right? August?
Yep.
Yes. So
and Florida,
get your tickets there.
Is it September? It's September, isn't it?
I think it's September too. Tampa, Orlando, Florida. Yeah, go down and get those too, because those are in clubs too. Those are at the Improv, so
they're gonna be
a little smaller venue. Yeah. That'll be fun. You'll be like a fucking 6 inches away from us.
Yeah,
we won't even have the buffer of this theater stage. It'll be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
So no, we like that shit. Actually, we're comics, so we like a comedy club environment. It'll be a good time. That's more comfortable for us than this big theater. So
and those
lots of fun.
Are really nice.
They're really nice, too. They are. They're fun. Check them out. Except watch out for roosters at the Tampa one. They're everywhere around there. All over that fucking place.
Keep your distance.
Come to Tampa, kick a rooster, and see us. Don't kick a rooster, probably. Don't do that.
Oh, they'll kick you back. Those things are mean as fuck.
They'll peck the shit out of you, probably. Those things will cut you. They whip out like a little switchfight, probably.
They don't even need razors to cockfight. They just sharpen their fucking...
On the fucking concrete.
Right on the asphalt. They sit out there just filing them.
On sidewalks. So get all of that. Get all your tickets to live shows, all your merchandise. Get your Shut Up and Give Me Coloring book. Yeah. Holy shit, that's there too. Everything you could want. Also follow us on social media. We're at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram. So check all of those out. And then Patreon this week. My God, are we cooking on Patreon? Yeah. Cooking with gas over there, everybody. For anybody $5 or above at patreon.com/crime and sports, you're going to get everything that we do. All of the bonus materials that you could ask for. Everything. Tons of stuff. Bonus episodes. You're going to get Crime and Sports bonus and Small Town Murder bonus. The whole back catalog. And this week is no different. My goodness, and I'm dying while I'm saying it. So sign up for Patreon or I'll die. No.
Yeah.
So, do that. This week's episodes for Crime and Sports, we are going to talk about the downfall of Bobby Knight, who was like Mr. Middle America national champion basketball coach, show some respect for Mr. Knight, kids, and shit like that. And talk about snapping and going off the deep end and really fucking your whole legacy up.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We'll talk about his downfall for sure there. And then for Small Town Murders bonus, we are going to talk about some prison shit. First of all, we're going to talk about a documentary we've discussed a whole lot here and there. Yeah. We're going to bring it all together and talk about like a 27-year-old documentary that's on HBO Max called Lock. It's so great. Yeah. We're still talking about it. Yeah. It's called Lock Up Rikers Island. So we'll talk about that. And then we're going to talk about some other prison stuff on top of that, just kind of how it's changed since the mid-'90s and all that kind of shit. We'll get into all of it, and it'll be very funny. It's going to be a lot of, between that and the first one, it's just going to be... It's going to be interesting. We'll put it that way. So get your tickets to that. I almost just said.
Get your tickets to Patreon.
Get your tickets to Patreon. They last forever. There you go. Patreon.com/crime and sports. Like I said, and do that. Also, you can make a donation on PayPal if you want to just get your shout out and good karma, of course. Sure. PayPal, just use our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. That said, God damn it, Jimmy, I need to hear the list of good people that would never, ever, ever walk into our children's school and kidnap them at handcuffed and stab them with ice picks. Jimmy, Hit me with the names of these wonderful people.
This week's executive producer are Cameron Kushwara, Jordan Bennett, of course, James Setchfield, I think, Maria Widerker, Colette Ciarlante, I believe, Amoro Mayo Perez, Jaden Poulignot. You're not? I don't know.
Pulling not? That'll just make it tighter.
Yeah. And Sade Morganin.
Cool.
I don't. Look.
Well, thank you.
If I knew how to pronounce it, I'd probably be in your family. Other producers this week are Paula Collins, Alex Hopper, Liz Vasquez, Billy Ray Valentine. You know who he is.
Trading places, baby.
Susanna Platt.
Who been putting out their cools on my flow?
Corporal Carl Kirchner, Peyton Meadows, Brandon Schrick, and Savannah Walker are getting married. Congratulations, you crazy kids.
Congrats. Good for you.
That seems like the right thing to do. Joey Pepperoni Nips.
Oh.
Richard Spencer Jr. is beating cancer. Keep it up, Richard. Nicholas Parker, Robert Hodling, Frank Zakra, the South African birdwasher. That's who that is. Dayman, not to be confused with the Nightman. Keith
Obviously.
Cole, Janice Hill, Jason Ohanian, Mike East. Happy birthday, Mike. Joy Nix, Mariah Ulrich, Scooby Douche. That's pretty good. Lee Viathan, Paul Lumpkin, Jason with no last name, Amber with no last name, Michael Cheney, Michelle Poochie, Amy,
one of those.
Amy
Michelle,
Healy, Terry Stafford, Fox Dembo, Daniel Kippen, Caleb Stewart, Jason Transu, Mike with no last name, Stacy Heben, I don't know. I'm so dumb. Trevor Hubert, Kaylee Hayes, Shane Blegan, Brock Mitchell, Tony Potts, Alex Jones, I hope not, Christopher Bolander, C.S. Osborne, Ryan Paget, Matthew Koenig, Jason Ralston, Jake Ralston, Kelly Fox, Aaron Zinsley, Johnny Jordan, Tyson Davis, Swackhamer, Nancy Kelly, Michael Murphy, Kelly Shepard, Lorena Watson, Kyle Daly, David Stainer, Rachel Hartman, D. Bursey, Lisa Holch, Catherine Romanow, Irish Housden, Greg Amundsen, Jason Cool, Santa Hopkins, Frankie and Dave, Thomas Montequila, Mona Johnson, Amber Green, Jay Field, Amy Ann Cindy, Annie Bailey, Luke Nowlin, David Chapman, Kristen Lopez, Terry Burston, that's what it is, Fiona Murray, Diane Antonopoulos. What? I did it.
Greek.
Carla with no last name. Bailey 119. Brandy Harrison. Ruth Souther. Stephanie Marquette. Tara with no last name. Erica Lynn. Anthony Benanti.
Fucky's Italian.
God damn it.
It's a problem.
Fernando Hernandez, Josh Traber, Andrew Corbett Kelly, Rhonda McMasters, Essence Ray, Andrew Zappin, Skyliana Ayers, Autistic Seaman, all right, Lisa Marie Hurst, Matthew Dankenbring, Jenna Glover, Cole Sumner, Liz R. Dat Guy Zach, Alyssa Suter, Sage Atterbury, Taylin Body, Sherry Lynn Chamillard, Mr. Big, Eric Narson, Gary Soberg, Amber with no last name, Jeannie Bonilla, John Tomasic, Jalen White, Susie Emerson, William Ware, Jennifer Murillo, Jessica Rendon, Javier Aguilar, Rhiannon Davies, Carrie Overstreet, Lux Sen, I smack this chair constantly, Kendra Scarberry, Kendall Armstrong, Travis Benanti.
That was accusatory. Kendall Armstrong. Step forward. Answer for your charges. Jesus.
Candace Walbeck, Judith Carter, Brent Sponsel, Joel Hoyt, Matt Snelling, Marissa Blackman.
That's all threats. The only ways it could be.
Edward Aponte, Burdinator 84, Charlie McMeans, Mike Chekowitz. I don't know. Nick McGowan, Lindsay Chansley, Bain Turnbow, Wendy Steer, Jason Goodwin, Wolf Pussy. All right. Shauna Rives, Chandler Haskell, Carrie Soperdyer, Brandon with no last name, Corey Clark, Tommy with no last name, Fred Thomas, Kirk Wildermuth, Wildermuth. Allison Brantham, Heather Ashley, Shoddy Bogdan, Stephanie Sagita, AJ with no last name, Amanda Hosey, Jessica James, Abby Thorne, Noah Hernandez, Hannah S, Jeremy Eves, Michael Banks, Luke with no last name, Michael Neblet, Terry A, Tiff, Zachos, MD, PhD, DVM, Diplomat, American College of Veterinary Surgeons.
God
She's
damn.
a big deal, evidently. Renee Patterson, Ian Black, Ian, I think, Sarah Nielsen, Lala with no last name, Brad Lutz, Craig Driscoll, Shan with no last name, Marshall Banana, Ava Bowling, Tara Hacker, Praise Hune, Andrea Menny, Michael Ferguson, Michael, Paula with no last name, Tracy Moyer, Mike Crotch Burns, James, Junior though.
Great.
So,
Junior.
Samantha Danielle,
problem.
Rylan H., Karina Schmidt, Nathan Williams, James Akimano, Jesus, Angelina Groman, David Horn, Ashley Lovern, Amanda Herring, Cameron Hatfield, Eric with no last name, and Allison Nelder. That's who it is. Thank you guys so much for everything.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. We can't thank you enough, honestly. Thank you for what you do for us. We do appreciate it, and we're looking forward to seeing everybody out there on the road as we have been this year. It's been a lot of fun to see you guys again.
It's so awesome.
It really is. Thank you. If you want more of us, you want to follow us on social media, very easy to do that. Just go to shutupandgivememurder.com. Links are all there.
Yeah.
Or you can just Google Small Town Murder Podcast host. Yeah. There should be only 2 of us. If anyone else pops up, let us know so we can kick that person squarely in the dick. Or twat, whichever is more appropriate for the situation.
They're equipped with.
We don't care. We're equal opportunity twat kickers at this point. It doesn't matter. Don't steal our shit. Yeah. That said, thank you so much for joining us, as always. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.